So I was at, of course, Bucky's this past weekend at Oxcon. And not only for my Canadian friends out there is it the size of like a small Walmart, which is insane for a gas station. It has very clean bathrooms. But I've been looking at this image for the last couple evenings, and I handed the sweater over to Hannah, who is pretty tiny. She's petite. Put it on her, and we both said collectively, this is definitely not a beaver. This is a river otter, disguised as a beaver. Tell me I'm wrong, Zach.
I'll be honest, I don't know what a river otter is. I thought a river otter and a beaver were the same thing, so...
I went to American public school as well, and I've got no fucking clue.
Beavers are...
I don't have Discovery Channel.
Beavers are fatter, and they have, like, a bigger head. It does look a lot like an otter.
So Fern's
They're
like
a
more
lot
akin
uglier.
to a river otter, I suppose.
Beavers also typically have teeth from the bottom, not the top, and they're not as cute like this little guy is. He's a...
Yeah, well, he's a cartoon, but his name is Bucky Beaver, not Bucky the River Otter.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, though, like, mascots don't have to be... Like, I've never seen a coyote that walks on 2 feet, right, Dean?
Right.
But it looks like a coyote, despite the
I've never seen a coyote that looks like that. But what type
Yeah,
of
what about the
coyotes do you-
Chicago Bulls? You've ever seen a red bull before?
That's
it
true.
looks like a bull.
Not
None of
red.
these arguments
Bulls don't look
are
red.
at all the same thing.
Bulls don't stand up on 2 feet, though.
I think you guys just
They don't-
truly don't
they
know
don't
what
sound
river
bug.
otters look like. At least Eddie does.
I know what a
I'm now
river otter
confident in
looks
it.
like.
I don't know, Dean.
I'm pretty sure it looks like your mom.
Whoa! She watches the
He's
show.
on the mom
Yeah,
train
that's
today.
awesome.
My God.
River otters are adorable, so thank you. My mom
River
is
otters
adorable.
even have like white under their cheeks and their chin too. It looks just like that, honestly.
He's
Look
in
at this.
disguise.
It's
He's
fucking
infiltrating your
lucky.
country.
Look at this thing.
Look, he
Jesus
is
Christ.
infiltrating. That's the exact same picture I looked at, Eddie. He is
Wait,
infiltrating
what
your
is this?
country.
What
That's
It's
is
a
a
river
river
otter.
Okay, now show me a beaver.
Okay.
what
Hold
a
on
beaver
really
looks
quick. Let
like.
me go get Marco's mom. No, I'm just...
Today.
Eddie tells one good joke and it gets to his head.
Just be
Jesus.
careful what kind of beaver you show on camera, Eddie.
Wow.
Someone's looking up a beaver, right?
I thought that
No,
was you. What are you doing on your phone?
I'm looking it up.
Jesus.
He went to
Christ.
phub.com.
Okay,
and,
look.
Yeah.
That
like-
thing I would say that
ugly
looks
as
more
sin.
like the photo.
That definitely looks
What
like
the
Bucky.
fuck? Alright. Whatever.
Damn, that dude got some.
I appreciate your
gingivitis,
support, Eddie. You guys are being infiltrated. You don't even know it by a river otter. Just saying.
Wow.
though. Wow.
It's new.
Fuck! I hit the wrong button. God damn it.
Doesn't got it. He lost his fastball today.
Are you an angel?
What?
An angel. I heard the deep space pilots talk about them. They're the most beautiful creatures in the universe.
Hello there.
We are tonight's entertainment.
We would be honored if you would join us.
He's got a billion toys.
You brought in the doll collection. These are not dolls, Jim. These are commodities. Same as gold or oil.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You are now listening to the Collecting Weekly podcast.
This is the true form of lore gang right here. Very nice. YouTube.com/collectingweekly. Thank you very much. That's very cool. Big.
Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Marco.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Eddie.
Welcome to this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. It's a weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things that matter the most to us this week in collecting.
We started off so well.
We started
too.
off
was
so
good.
strong.
Oh shit! Why was I mute?
Yes.
My bad.
That post-Oxcon slump. I hate to
Yeah.
see it.
Well, we want to thank everybody who's watching, whether you're watching live or catching us on the replay. Thank you to everyone who came to OxCon this weekend. It was tons of fun. Apparently, Marco didn't have any fun, so we'll talk about
Said he
that,
won't
I
ever
guess.
visit us again.
Yeah, he's like, that's it. I'm never coming back. So,
I hate to hear it.
I melted. What do you guys expect?
it was
like a Ken down there
hot.
now.
But to be fair, it was all your fault.
That too. It's
yeah,
true. It's true.
Originally, it was in October, late October.
Poor Marco. No, we
that
had
wedding's
fun.
not even happening anymore.
That's the worst part. I told you fuck those guys,
about it.
and you were like, "Nah, bro, I can't do that." Whatever.
Wow.
And then,
I feel like it sounds worse
They're
for the bride
GGs.
and groom than it does for us. But
Yeah,
I don't know
in
the story though. So
the full picture is definitely worse for them, but they're still together anyway.
that's good then. Okay, well,
Wow. Anyways, we have a great show to talk about. We have so much figure news that we actually may or may not even talk about OxCon tonight. So stay tuned for that. Just depends on where we're at by the time we get past this news. We got Toy Mafia Lane Kramer in the chat. Finally got Boba Fett posed up and his gun in the holster. He looks so awesome now. Big call out to CW, Zack Attack, Dean the Dream for letting me on to unbox last night. SpongeBob SquareBalls, Tukatri, Reverse, Zio, Sam Gist, John Ortiz, Alvin J, Tim, Harvey, Yomo, Arelis, Jazzy. We got to meet Arelis this weekend. And Zio. It was fantastic. Alvin J, Jason Nelson, El Profesor. Geez, no one's mom is safe. The Ben Thomas Show. Eddie says no moms are harmed in the making of this live stream. Tukatri, Sam Gist. Let's see here. Sunnyville Russ. Ninja Squirrel, Rainer from Rainer's Rarities, Sean Forrester, Gigi. Wow, that's all I was here for. Dean, we have a very special segment that we start off all the best shows with.
Yeah, you guys ready?
Yes. I'm just kidding. I wanted to do it just for you. That's a callback.
Funny.
That's a callback. If you know, you know.
It's new this week.
Yeah. What'd you get new this week? So I finally got my little armory figures from Ami Ami. And then when we went to Steven's Collectibles for OxCon, he had another one. So I picked up one of those. He also had a little armory tactical glove set, 2 of them. Some came with Glocks, the others came with revolvers.
Wow.
So I picked those up. And then I got the Breath of the Wild Zelda and Link from Rainer along with the Samus. I've been wanting a Zelda and Link and Samus in my collection for a while in a good, 6-inch scale-ish. And I got them. So very cool. That was my pickups. What about you guys?
Wow.
How big is that? That Samus is 6 inches?
It's
Or
about
in that
5.
scale?
About 5 inches.
Ish, yeah. She's probably too small for like proper 12 scale, but
No, it's not too small at all. It's actually really large.
I mean, I think a lot of people would say 5 inches is quite large.
yeah, I could fit her on a shelf. She'll be good.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
I actually really like that Samus, Eddie. It's weird because like they're the same line by the same company in the same wave, and their articulation is totally different. Like one will have a type of joint, and the other one doesn't, and it doesn't really make any sense. Like I feel like if you combined both of them, they'd be the perfect figures, but separately they're both just okay.
What brand is that?
These are the Jack's Pacific.
Oh, okay. Cool.
You can get them at Walmart. They're like $10 or $11.
Yeah, they're the ones
If you
that
can
do
find
the
them, they're hard to
Sonic line.
find. Ah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
Very cool. Marco, what'd you get this week?
So I picked up this Black Series Darth Revan. Freaking Eddie is still convinced this is a long con, that this isn't actually my figure, that I've taken it home and somehow taken a picture. He doesn't think I know who Revan is. He doesn't think I've played KOTOR. And so, yeah, so also this isn't a scale that I collect normally, but there are select figures that, they will just speak to me and I'm like, okay, this isn't representation I can get in 6 scale just yet. And yeah, this was badass. I picked this up over at Rainer's Rarities. Shout out to Rainer for making me a good deal on this one. And yeah, really happy to add it. Now I'm kind of debating, do I open them up or keep them in the package? I'm a big opener of figures, but it looks so crispy. Like it looks so good in the package. What do you guys think?
I really like the Archive Series packaging. I think it looks super clean. I feel like Black Series has had that, like the same packaging basically since the beginning. They've just kind of changed the colors and the backgrounds a little bit. So I think these are nice. I always kind of smile when I see them on the shelf. So yeah. I think they look fantastic.
I will tell you this. I ended up just buying 2 so I could open one and not open the other.
Oh, that was a great call, man.
For me, dude, I think if you don't collect the scale that much, I almost think you should take it out of the pack, because that's what makes the scale fun. You can put it on your desk. If you have anxiety or you're having in the middle of a meeting, you have something to grab onto if you want to.
Oh,
I normally grab something else.
to grab.
That's not the meat too. I
Wow.
just put it. Come on, boy. And
Whoa!
and
What the hell?
What did he say?
What
Ben broke
was that?
for 10 seconds. there.
Jesus, that's Ben's real voice, actually. What the fuck? Ben spent a little bit too much time in San Antonio.
Oh my god.
Jesus,
I was like
Christ.
heat stroke while I was
The
there.
heat
Look, I'm
fucking-
freezing now.
His
I'm not
ojos
used
went
to it.
loco.
His O's with logo, dude. My O's
guys
with
are all-
loco. Jesus.
It looks cool as shit. You should play with it, and not in a sexual way.
Wow. All right. All right.
Oh boy, all that nut built up. Well,
Oh my god.
I need a soundbite of Ben glitching out right there. Holy Jesus, Ben, what did you get this week?
I got so many things this week, boys. I'll start from the best to the best, honestly, because the right picture is the ocarina that Zach made me, or 3D printed me, and painted and sanded and all of the things himself. No traces of excitement were found other than pure love in this musical instrument. I love Nintendo 64. Ocarina of Time is my favorite video game of all time. This thing is badass. So I've got it posed up right now in my display, just actually behind the computer screen here in my lit cabinet with my N64 cartridge case that's all set up. So it looks badass. Very, very happy with it, dude. Thank you so much. I was so worried I was going to crush it, though, in my knapsack on the way home. I wrapped it in a sock, underwear, and then a sweater, and jammed it in my bag. So
Wow,
it was awesome. It lasted
you know
the
how
trip.
stretched out Ben's underwear is, so that's a lot of protection.
A lot of protection.
If only you could be that ocarina for a day.
Wow, one could be so lucky. What's up, Austin?
Middle picture,
else did you get?
I got at Steven's Collectibles in San Antonio while we were there, or just outside of San Antonio. Awesome store, gave me a great deal. I figure based on kind of my normal conversion rate and shipping and all of the things, getting things to normally from like Sideshow, I figure I saved about $130 shopping there. So I had a good experience, and it's an awesome figure. I was posing it right before we jumped online tonight and taking some pictures and having some fun. Got my light box out and all the good stuff. So stay tuned for more pictures of that bad boy as I get there. And then on the far left, I got the April O'Neil and the Casey Jones from Rainer shop in San Antonio. Now, I was not expecting that place. It was a cool, like, huge, like, market style, like, I want to say, like, building, but set of buildings. It almost looked like a circus pulling up to it, which was crazy. But
Bro,
like,
there was a drop zone right next to it. That place was wild.
they had so much stuff in there, so many different booths, and Raynor's was one of the best ones that I saw, at least in terms of collectibles. Walked in, I thought the pricing was really good. And, you know, it's interesting because that day we did a lot of toy shops. I ended up getting a good deal on these guys. The very next store I went to, I saw it for about $25 more money. So I immediately felt like I got that much even better of a deal over there with Raynor. A good experience and awesome figures. I'm pissed, though, because it didn't last in my suitcase well. I checked my suitcase, wrapped the shit out of this as well, and it got a Marco.
Oh,
A
no.
Marco-sized dent in it there. You hate to see it.
Ben,
So
no worries, bro. Just contact NECA. They'll take care of you.
I don't think
No
NECA's going to
issues.
take it back, but I might try anyways and see if I can get a replacement. But no, otherwise it's cool. Actually, Zach, if you can full screen me one more time really, really quickly. It's cool because it comes with like the drawings that April O'Neil does of like Raph and I think it's Leonardo. While the first movie is happening, like really cool little details, as well as this mask over here comes with an extra piece of hair, which is funky. So cool set. Thanks, Rainer. Appreciate it, buddy. Big new this week for this guy.
Wow, very cool. Austin Nichols says Steven's Collectibles hooked him up with a Bad Batch Echo, and Reverse Theo says I feel like I convinced Ben to get that War Machine. Very cool.
He helped. He stood
there.
beside me as I like hummed and hawed about it. I'm like, I think I'm gonna get it. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Eddie, what'd you get this week?
So I too got a little bit of stuff when I was in Texas. I ended up picking up the Elvira from Rainer. That was pretty cool. I've been meaning to get that one. I had the autograph edition when it first released, but I sold the autograph, and this is the regular release, so I picked that up from Rainer. And then I didn't take a picture of this. But now that I'm thinking about Rainer's, I was the winner for the giveaway at Rainer's, so I also got an autographed picture of Ahsoka Tano from the Rosario Dawson Ahsoka Tano. So
Can I have it?
that was awesome. You can
he's learned well.
not have that at all.
I tried to sneak it into my luggage, but he caught me.
Wow. It's funny. He took everything but the gifts that I gave him into his luggage.
Jesus.
I gave Eddie the ball, though. Eddie Manzanares gave him a gift, and then somehow Danny's gift ended up in there.
Because I told him...
I'm gonna mail it out to you.
He said, Danny said, I don't want to forget this. Where should I put it? I said, oh, put it in my gift bag. I got to take that anyway. And
Bro, I was cleaning
it.
I was cleaning out the living room, and I was like, that motherfucker.
You hate to see it.
Yeah,
it's okay. I'll get it next year.
There you go. Well, not if it's in San Antonio, apparently.
Jesus.
Wow. Holy cow.
Okay,
man.
so
Just
the
busting your
Feral
balls,
Predator.
Marco. It's all good feedback.
The Feral Predator was a random pickup from Stevens. He had posted, I think, before we got out there that he had it, or the first day that I got out there. I don't remember, but that was cool to see that, because that's literally like the first ones that have released. Like, I haven't seen that anywhere, so I asked Steven to hold one of those for me, and he was gracious enough to do so. That was cool. And then I also picked up the Mezco Predator from Steven. He gave us all a good discount when we were out there, so I ended up getting those two for almost the same price that you would pick up the Mezco Predator on his own for, so, which is also a really cool figure. And then the other Predator is the Boar Predator. I ordered that like a couple weeks ago from Target. That just came in, so I'm about halfway through my what are they, the Bad Tribe, or I forgot the name of the
Forgotten
tribe.
Or the Lost
Forgotten
Tribe.
Lost Tribe. There you go.
Yeah, Lost Tribe. There you go.
So I'm like halfway through collecting those guys, but I've been having a lot of fun. Actually, this came in today too, the Snake Predator. And this one has like cloth goods and like a pearlescent pink mask. It's really sick too, so
damn.
Neck ones are so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vintage says Elvira and 3 Predators, a man of culture.
Mm-hmm.
I had a similar news this week to Eddie. When I got there, the first thing I did was throw one of those Predators behind the counter, and then Eddie came in and got the second one. So, his was already on hold, rather, but I got the last one.
You fuckers! This is such a badass piece.
Oh, it's so good. We unboxed it last
cool,
night. Gosh, it really makes me want to watch the movie again. I also
watched it on the plane, dude. It was so good.
Really? Oh, you've never seen it?
Oh, I thought that was my second time, but
okay.
It was about only an hour and 40 minutes. It's a quick watch. It's such a good rewatch, dude. Totally worth it.
Hell yeah. I also got this from Philip the Fool. He gave me a nice little gift on day 0 of OxCon. It was really cool. I've been after this figure forever, and the last time that we hung out, I was telling him about it, and I guess he either had a spare or gave me his, but I genuinely appreciated it, so thank you, Philip the Fool. I also got a gift from Heidi and Paul Schreiber. It's a little bit more of a personal gift, but I didn't want to thank them for it, but unfortunately, because of what it is, I just, probably keep that amongst Paul and myself, but it was a very, very special gift, and it's something that we'll treasure for many years to come. So thank you, Paul and Heidi. It's not collecting related, but we genuinely appreciate that gift.
Yeah, we also got gifts from Wah and Whitney.
Yeah, they gave us nice little cards. Wah and Whitney, if they're watching on the replay, we love you guys. We had a great time with them at the barbecue. Yeah, and then on Sunday we had a little bit more of a
really cool people.
More time with them at the shooting range. So,
dude, that was awesome, bro.
Yeah,
the shooting range was so fun. It's hot.
I wish Ben was there. Ben would have melted though. He would have been a puddle by the time we left.
I would have had the biggest ass jiggle trying to hold onto those guns as I melted onto a picnic table. It would have been.
Now I got to get him there
worst.
next year.
You're right.
So definitely.
Hungry, dude.
Yeah, jeez, wow. I'm a 3/4 chub right now. Let's get into the news. So we have the Artisan Edition Scarlet Witch. This is the Avengers end game version. I believe, according to this document here, we're limited to 2,500 pieces, and I don't know. I think the portrait looks fine. I think the hair has too much volume. I had to go back and look at the screenshots, but her hair is pretty, not necessarily thin, but this feels very thick. I don't really know the word that I'm looking for, but it doesn't look natural, and it very much looks like a wig. But I know it's not the wig style that they typically do, but it just, it just doesn't feel like when you look at the Inart stuff, like you feel like that hair grew out of that head, and to me this feels like it was just placed there. And I felt that same way with the Wonder Woman 100, though. Again, that's not an artisan figure.
But Zach, that's a common thing, though, right? In that they're taking an existing sculpt that wasn't meant to be rooted and then kind of retroactively doing it. It was bugging me, but
yeah, no, that's a great point. I didn't even think about that. This does have the 2 LED lighting mode diorama base, and again, the hair on this one is that wool hair implantation style. There is also a sculpted hair version, so kind of interesting that there are options for this figure, and I believe Anakin to this point is the only artisan figure that didn't have a sculpted alternative. But these, at least I'm going to double check right now, but I don't believe they've gone up for pre-order yet. But what do you guys think about this? Artisan, Scarlet Witch, and then the sculpted edition.
My initial thought was, God damn. I think it looks pretty good. Newly developed body, it says in the description, which I don't know what that means.
The bust, I would assume.
Yeah, it's like, because she's got a full outfit, so it's like, is it seamless? Did it need to be? Like, what exactly is new about it? Like, I don't know. I guess we'll see. But, I mean, this is a figure people have been wanting. I would almost say it's kind of like the definitive Scarlet Witch before she's like evil, I guess. Like, it's kind of like her outfit has gone through all the changes it was going to go through, and this is kind of, the last look that we get of her when she comes back from, or this is before she dies. This is, oh no, Endgame. This is, she comes back.
This is, I don't even know who you are.
This is before.
This is when she fucks up Thanos. Yeah.
Yeah, before WandaVision.
Yeah, so it's I like it more than I don't like it.
So for me, I posed the question I think a week or two ago of like, what does the artisan line even mean? Are we going to see another more premium line after the artisan line, or is this what they're now considering the most premium they're going to do? Because if premium just means rooted hair, like, I'm kind of out at this point. I don't think the hair color is right. I think it needs to be like 1 or 2 shades darker. I think it's close, but I don't think it's quite right. I think if they did that for me, I think it would look better. But we've also had a lot of Wandas lately. The WandaVision one, great looking figure. The Multiverse of Madness figure, hopefully we're going to get any moment. I wouldn't need another Wanda, at least in my collection. It's like, how many Boba Fetts do you need? How many Wandas do you need? Is this going to be the most definitive Wanda? It's hard to say. I think if it's pleather, I don't think it will be. I think it'll deteriorate, just like we've seen with previous versions. And if it ends up being leather, I feel like they need to let us know that ASAP. But I haven't seen any description on that. So right now, I would say that for sure. Ben. Yeah, right. It would say it somewhere on the marketing, upgraded materials, blah, 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 whatever. So I don't think the hair color is right. I don't think the materials are premium. I don't feel like this is the Wanda I'd actually even want, other than the fact that it's an artisan name and likely limited up to a certain extent because they're not numbered. So it's hard to know how limited that means. Now, for me, I think right now the Multiverse of Madness version is the one that I'm like most amped for. I'm excited to see what that one looks like. So when it comes out.
DJ agrees. He says, unless they have real leather or something other than the rooted hair, artisan to me is useless.
Yeah, I'm completely with you guys in that it feels like this artisan line is a little half-baked. I appreciate them trying to do something different. Obviously, they're directly competing with Inart. Anyone that says otherwise just isn't, is fooling themselves, I would say, right? The timing is just a bit too convenient. Yeah, I'm not super happy with the color. The lack of real leather. We've just seen that with the Wolverine, and I think that's it. So it's like you've tried it with one figure, and that's not even released and scared you away from it. So maybe because we're going to continue to pay these high prices, because I may be part of the problem. I haven't decided yet because there's so much, just in this show alone that we're going to talk about that's been announced that you're really going to have to make some hard decisions here. But I love Elizabeth Olsen. She's on my list. I love Scarlet Witch. I feel like I really like this representation too. It's different enough from the WandaVision version that I feel like I could justify adding it. But, if this is $600, it might be because of the base, right? I don't know that I can justify a $600 Scarlet Witch, but I might still, the FOMO might get to me. Who knows? I'm going to leave the door open until I do a bit more analysis here. But yeah, I'm just a little underwhelmed by this Artisan series. I hope that in future releases they keep stepping the game up and adding additional, features. Some die-cast accessories, maybe better materials. But again, if they're going to sell out within, 15 minutes of this figure, why do they even need to try? Why do they need to try any harder?
That's a good fucking point. Marco, rated or overrated? Artisan Edition.
Absolutely. Artisan Edition, overrated. Elizabeth Olsen, underrated. Boom.
Both are overrated.
There you go. Eddie, is this a interest to you?
When I originally saw it go up while we were sitting, it was like in the morning, the second morning of OxCon. I didn't think that it looked like Elizabeth Olsen. I was like, it's off. Like, I don't see the likeness.
It looks like the WandaVision sculpt, though, right, Eddie?
Well, now, to me, yeah. Now I definitely see it in there. Now, like, I don't know how it just changed for me, but, like, I didn't see it at all at first, and now it looks spot on. But I agree with Ben on the hair color. I don't like the hair color at all. I think it's way too orange. Her hair was more orange in Endgame than it was in, like, Civil War. But also she had darker roots. And I don't know how hard it is to, like, change the color of that kind of rooted hair. So, like, I don't know if they can even do two-tone colored hair.
Well, our Joker has two-tone colored hair, right?
That's
He's
true.
got dark rooting in the...
He does. So, thank you. That means they could have done it. And I wish they did do it. But I do like the way it looks. And it would be my ideal version of Scarlet Witch. So I am tempted, but yeah, if it's more than $300, dude, that's crazy just for rooted hair. That doesn't seem like, I don't get it. It feels like they're taking advantage of buyers at that point, but it's a good looking figure. So
with the rooting speculation wise, I think it could hit the $400 range, but I do not think that base, as cool as it looks, should add that much more cost to this figure. And if it does, I wouldn't want it.
Oh, and one thing I was mentioning to Ben too, another cool thing with a Artisan line would be actual light up eyes instead of just a luminous effect.
Heck yeah.
I feel like, though, I think Margot made such a great point, right? Like, if we're, tripping over ourselves to pre-order these not Inart figures, but the Artisan Hot Toys figures, and they're selling out, with a 4,000 queue line of people that are, desperately trying to get one. I mean, it's almost like on us, right? Like, if these prices keep going up and we're accepting that, hey, this is maybe Hot Toys' take on a premium hair, but perhaps not a premium material.
I think they're going to find Oh, go ahead, Zach, and then I'll say.
Yeah, but I think at some point, right, like, as collectors, we have to say, hey, this isn't good enough, and they have to take an L, right? I think with HasLab, it's happened before. They missed on a few projects. They had to go back to the drawing board. I think we got much better products because of it. But I think at the moment, we have a lot of collectors that are hype collectors, a lot of collectors that don't care, a lot of collectors that, would be willing to purchase it even with its flaws, and I think that's just hurting us overall.
Yeah, I'm with you there in terms of them taking an L. I think they're going to find the pain point for collectors here very soon if they keep stacking these Artisans and not, kind of iterating on it. Because I'm now like, oh, this is a little bit soon in my book. Yes, it is Marvel, so it's a little bit different from what we've been seeing. But, perhaps one of the ones in the future just sits around. It doesn't sell out right away. And then it kind of loses the luster of the entire line, I think.
100%. Gilbert says it's the limited edition size that's going to trap a lot of collectors, regardless of how premium it is. Niculio says the only premium aspect of it is its price. Ninja says a fool and his money are easily parted. So really good stuff there. And I did double check on Sideshow, and I don't believe any of these have actually gone up officially for pre-order yet. I believe some of them, when I checked this morning, Miles G. Morales was on the coming soon, and then an hour later someone had posted on Let Your Geek Sideshow that he was taken off. So I don't know if that means they're getting ready to convert him to a live order or not, but as of this point I don't believe anything that we're talking about today has gone live, other than the Superman, which we'll touch on later. Up next we have the Iron Man. There's a regular and special edition. When this figure was sort of shown a few when it was shown, I think it was at SDCC, and then we had the first original version. Everyone was like, well, it should be the comic colors. Don't understand why it's not the comic colors. We now have that, and I think it looks really good. Like the Iron Man logo there on the base, though, to me, I would really like that to be yellow and red, especially since it's yellow and red right below on all the graphics. So I'm not the most familiar with the comic Iron Man, so perhaps the blue and gray is a bit more accurate, but I feel like with these bright colors, I'd like to see that red and yellow motif. He does have this nice little special edition briefcase, suitcase display, which holds some of the accessories. He's got the Tony Stark portrait, real nice coloring, real nice accessories, the little wheels there on the feet, the light and dark blue on the chest. To me, this feels like what I think it should have been initially. And according to these images, these are Hot Toys exclusive figures, which means they may be somewhat limited in quantity for us when we get them. Again, no pricing yet, but expect this one to be quite a bit, being a die-cast Iron Man. But I like this a lot. I think that portrait is fantastic, and yeah, this to me is it's doing a lot of things right.
Yeah, I think I was kind of like the only one that was like, I don't want to say hyped for this, but it was like, this is what I feel like most people wanted that first version to be, with like the clear and the candy apple red. And it was a cool looking figure, but it was like, but if you're going to do classic Iron Man, like do classic Iron Man. Now we finally got it, and I think it looks fantastic. I love the case that it comes with, that blue under the armor. You're probably never going to see that except for a few photos, but it pops so well that it's so cool. I don't know if the exclusive version or bonus version is worth it's what the case and the stands, I guess. That's not really like winning me over. You know, I'd rather save a couple of bucks than get some shit I don't need. But yeah, overall, I think this is fantastic. I love it.
Dean, I think it's just the suitcase and not the stand itself.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So, you know, I will just say, Dean, I don't think you're alone. I think a lot of people are hyped for this particular version. Talking to Paul Schreiber, you know, I think he's in on this Iron Man. And so for me, it's not really anything that interests me. And I think that they dropped the ball in terms of making it more metallic because the paint is flat. And I get what they're trying to do. Totally looks like something that jumped off of the comic page. But because the paint is flat, it just makes it look a bit cheap, in my opinion. And if they would have gone with a metallic paint finish, basically, I'm looking at my Endgame Battle Damage Iron Man. If they kind of went for more of that paint design, I think it could have landed somewhere in between comic and live action and could have fit on a lot of people's shelves and in their collection a lot better. So that's really, you know, what I'm struggling with. But overall, I think they're giving people what they want. And I think, you know, a lot of folks are going to be excited, just not me personally. So what do you think, Ben?
I mean, I'm so torn because, like, you guys know that I like Mondo figures. I love them. I think they're cool. They come with a ton of accessories. The price point is usually relatively accessible at kind of that $225, $230 range commonly. This, to me, feels in the same realm or echelon as a Mondo figure would. I still think it's really freaking cool, but I have the same worry about it, at least for my own collection, that I do with Mondo. What if it doesn't fit in? What if it doesn't look like it kind of matches the rest of the aesthetic that I'm going for? I like the shrunk down human style of 1/6 collecting, and while I think these are freaking cool, they still represent kind of more of that toyetic feel that I'd rather have in a smaller scale on my desk, like I was saying to Marco earlier. I think that would be like more fun for me to still have the representation in the collection, but not necessarily commit to a whole kind of collectible square or piece of real estate within the 6-scale collection that I specifically have. Now, I'm also not a classic Iron Man comic collector, like some folks out there are. For those folks, I feel like this is a must-have if that's one of your favorite characters from the collection. For me, I was mostly introduced to Iron Man through Tony Stark's version. So when I close my eyes and think about Iron Man, while this is definitely one image that pops to mind, truly my Iron Man is Robert Downey Jr. in the real live-action Iron Man suit. And that'll be kind of how it stays in my collection. So happy for the folks that got this coming and are excited. But it's not, I don't think, going to come to my collection Unless I got it as like a gift. If somebody like got this for me, I think I'd be pretty freaking stoked. Like it's a cool figure. So just put it out
buy
there.
this for you? Is that
Just
Hey,
put
you
it
know,
out in
wow.
the
if you
universe.
want to
Yeah,
buy
hey,
it for me, Eddie, you can.
If anyone wants to buy me Viper Gandalf as a gift, you know.
He doesn't need another Gandalf. Does anybody want to take any guesses how many
I think you missed a
representations
few.
of...
I
how
think
many
you
re-
missed a few.
I don't. I mean, I might have missed a few. But does anybody want to take a guess of how many Gandalf representations I counted in Zach's collection room? Quickly put it in the chat if you're interested. And I'll tell you in a couple
guess
minutes.
in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who has more, Zach and Gandalfs or Marco and Jokers?
Wow, Zach blows
way,
me out.
Definitely
way
Zach.
more. Yeah.
It's a cool figure for sure, man. I agree with everyone saying that this is the one that everybody wanted. This when the other one released, they kind of hated it. I like the other one. I don't think it's better. I think it's just a cool figure. So is this one. This one really stands out. I wouldn't particularly get this because I don't really care for Iron Man's like vintage look. Like I prefer the Tony Stark modern Robert Downey Jr. look. Like it's just cooler to me. But it does excite me because it makes me feel like there's a possibility they could do a Thor, like a comic Thor, which would be really cool, especially if it was like a Fison body that was like all bulky, and that would be really dope. But I have a feeling they're just gonna do Iron Men with this because that's like their bread and butter is Iron. They're trying to find ways to do more Iron Man because they beat the shit out of MCU already with Iron Man. So that's my only worry about it. But it is very cool, and like I'm happy. It seems like a lot of people like it. I thought this was the standout for a lot of people actually, the Iron Man. So it's cool.
And you know that you're going to get a classic sort of white and gray or light gray and dark gray War Machine. Like it's 100% happening.
Yeah, that's so true.
We got some guesses
And the
here.
stealth unit, probably that blue one.
Yeah, exactly. The blue and the red. There you go. 7 Gandalfs. Alvin J and Gilbert. Tremble Dust says 5. Tukadri says 8. Burtis says over 9,000. And Calvin says 36. And Ninja Scroll says 8. What do we got, Ben, on the Gandalf count?
I ended up counting initially 39. And then Zach took off. Zach made me take off 4 because 4 of them that I counted were actually his character Ozal or Ozark.
Yeah, Ozal.
Ozal the wizard. Right, you hate to see it. So 4 of those representations I counted were Ozal. I thought they were little Gandalfs. He's like clearly it's me. I'm like, I wouldn't say clearly, but okay. but so yeah, if you take 4 off the 39 I counted, 35 is the official count of the Gandalf things.
To clarify, they're not all 1/6 scale. Some of them are Lego. Some of them are Middle Earth miniatures.
Some of them are statues though too, and that counts.
Some of them are statues. Yeah,
straight up heads of Gandalf sitting on the desk.
Wow.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I gotta say I'm howling at Niculio's comment though. What this really needs is a clear plastic overlay to bring out the details. That's fucking
what
hilarious.
a legend. That would be
Sorry, I glitched out there.
You're good, Ben. Yeah, that would be legendary. Gilbert says 35 Gandalfs. That's a true Gandalf fan. You know it, bro. You know. Look at that. We got 72 people watching.
Say he's a Gandalf.
A Gandalf Fandoff.
Wow. Big fan of the Gan.
The dumbest thing I ever heard.
Ben, you're still good on my end.
The dumbest thing I ever heard was Eddie Mendez.
A whole nursing home.
And your mom?
Jesus, what is
This
with
guy
your
and
mom
people's
today?
moms today.
Jesus.
I think he misses his.
Wow.
That was. I'm done now.
Oh my god.
I was gonna emotional damage.
I was gonna double down on it, but I'm gonna let him have this one.
Okay, you have to let him have it because you got him ugly on Sunday.
That's what I was gonna double down on.
Eddie had the whole fucking B&B crying on Sunday. I was
making fun of my dead grandpa.
Jesus.
Well, apparently we're mourning together. So
Spider-Man 3. Deluxe.
Wait. No, we'll talk about this later.
Deluxe version.
Oh my god.
Now it's funny because throughout the trials and tribulations of the Inart Gandalf, a lot of people are like, oh, you care too much, or like you're being too anal. And then this Spider-Man came out, and the number of people posting, some of which had said I was too anal about Gandalf, pointing out the small details that Hot Toys has gotten wrong here. It's like, now you know how it feels for them to take something that you love and tarnish it. So, but man, for Hot Toys to make, I've always maintained their original black suit Spider-Man sculpt is a very good portrait, but doesn't look anything like Toby does in this film, and completely like make it 1,000 times better with this portrait is very impressive. I think this is shrink ray. This is ripped right off the screen. It's got the bangs, just the look, the cheeks, everything just looks fantastic. I think where you start to lose me here is with the Venom symbiote effects. The Venom design in this film is much different than the Tom Hardy Venom that we have seen of late, and unfortunately, it seems like they've combined that. Obviously, this could be something that the licensor has asked for. This could be something that Hot Toys just submitted and got approved. But I think one of the common concerns was that this doesn't seem particularly accurate. I've seen other people mention that the lenses are the wrong shape for the black suit. I believe one person mentioned the logo is incorrect. I'll be honest, I don't have that as dead to right 100% accurate, but
I don't think that he even had a Venom face when he was wearing the suit. I think that was only when Topher Grace wore it.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're 100% correct. I do love the diorama base here, which is the difference in the deluxe and the regular. Don't know that it's a deluxe or bust for me, but god damn, the way that he looks in this photo here on the right is spectacular. This is definitely likely going to be a very early pre-order for me, price depending. But man, this is the year of the symbiote, man. We might get a Mondo symbiote, might get the Marvel Legends PS5 Spider-Man. We have 2 Hot Toys symbiotes, the Sideshow premium format statue. This is as a fan of symbiote, this to me is like, the best time. So
if this goes up for pre-order soon, that means it'll be out like Christmas next year or like late
probably
Q3,
Q4 2024. Yeah,
I'm thinking this might be contender for figure of the year next year. This is a pretty
wow, that's
solid,
high praise.
This is, it looks fantastic. I don't know what else they could have done much better. It's just just the Toby head sculpt alone is phenomenal. Get a cool diorama, if you get the exclusive. The Venom effects, I don't remember really any Venom effects other than the time he's like ripping his suit off, but it's more just like goo, not.
That's what Philip says.
Like a Venom. But it's included. That's cool. You get some shit, extra shit that you pay for. I think it's a gorgeous figure. I've also seen some people complaining about like the colorization. It's like, this should be gunmetal. I'm like, is it not? Like, is the webbing not gunmetal? Like, I felt kind of like, I guess like Zach said, the way he feels about Gandalf, other people are about this. I'll take their word for it. I'm not the expert. But I have seen a lot of that. So if those things could get fixed, I think it's very easily a contender for figure of the year.
Yeah, to Zach's point about Year of the Symbiote, I think that you're spot on there in that the Spider-Man PS5 game, Spider-Man 2, I think that every suit you can venomize or symbiotize or whatever you want to call it. I think, I haven't seen too much because I don't want to spoil it. So I think that this may be related to it, right? Because I know the Raimi suit was in the first game, so maybe this has something to do with the timing of all this. All that being said, I think this looks terrific. I like Spider-Man 3. I know that it's not a very popular film, but I've seen it multiple times, and it's like it's enjoyable. It's fucking goofy in a lot of places, but yeah, it's a fun film. So yeah, I think this is an absolute must for me. I think the emo Peter Parker sculpt is goofy, but it looks good. Like, it really does look solid. So I think just the figure by himself without all these plastic bits and the base is like an elite combo. So that alone is, I'm in on this. I'm very curious to see the price. If this is pushing 400, which it probably will be, a little bit nervous about that. But if they're going to keep giving us really solid sculpts and like iconic characters like this, they can keep getting my money. So yeah, curious to see when this goes up for pre-order, and very excited that they're dipping back into the well of this property.
Dude, this was the... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Niculio says, you see the symbiote effect in the construction site when he's been separated from Eddie, but that's it. It's not a part of either Peter or Eddie, like it's like an accessory.
Yeah, this could have been a leftover part they had for like a Eddie Brock or something that they didn't use, that they were like, fuck it, just throw it on this for a promo picture and we'll fix it later.
It does seem
One
kind
would
of like a throw-in or
Yeah.
just something that they added, but...
Yeah.
Ben, go ahead and go really quick. I'll go after you.
Yeah, so I'll make it quick. So I feel conflicted by this because I've wanted the Toby black suit for a really long time. Obviously, I missed the original one. Some of the aftermarket pricing on that one's still crazy, so it wasn't worth paying for at the time to get it in the collection. This year's been an awesome year already of black suited Spider-Man that we're going to be getting. So this feels like a treat, except for the fact that it isn't screen accurate. And one of the reasons that I collect Hot Toys is for the screen accuracy, or at least as much as humanly possible or creatively possible. I think it is, whoever mentioned that it could have been a throwaway for like an Eddie Brock from the Venom film. If we'd got an Eddie Brock with this coming off of his shoulder, that would have been an awesome figure. But like for them to show it with this one, it doesn't make sense. If they'd given us the extra head sculpt with him like ripping it off of his face and you could see the Toby face kind of peeking through the symbiote.
Now I want that.
That would have been cool. Can you imagine having two hands that looks like he's ripping it? That could have been a crazy inclusion for this figure. One of the other fails here, and it sucks for it to be a fail because the head sculpt of Toby, while the emo look that he's got is like bang on for the film, I think like one of the best sculpts I've seen in a long time prototype wise, because he's got that little slice of black collar on his neck. It's going to be really hard to put him in a kit bash with the black suit, stick him with a John Wick body with that black suit or whatever to make him look like he's doing that dancing scene out of the movie, right? Like
who's doing that, Ben? Who's doing that?
Toby was, and I think that would be
doing
a
that.
hilarious part of the collection. You'll have to have him showing a bit of symbiote collar or find a way to take it off, and then you're damaging it. So like it's almost like they didn't think of it, but how would they have not thought of that? Like that is one of the most memed like dances in like pop culture. Like come on, you got to give us the option to be able to do kit bashes. So while it's awesome, it's also like more disappointing than I would have expected. I feel ridiculously conflicted, but because I've wanted a black suited Spider-Man from this Tobyverse for the longest time, I still think I would buy it, even if they don't make the changes, just to at least have the masked black suited Spider-Man in my collection to pair up with my other Toby one that's coming here soon. So we'll see.
This was my favorite of the 4 that they showed, so I'm definitely excited. I love Spider-Man 3. I love all 3 of them, so I would love to see them do Eddie Brock or Topher Grace in his suit with. He would have a really cool unmasked sculpt if they could pull that figure off. That would be a really cool figure. So I'm hoping that happens now that they're doing all villains and stuff, but probably not because all those villains are from No Way Home. So, but I'd still love to see that. But I think it's amazing, dude. I love it, and I think the head sculpt is like perfect to me. So,
did you see the deleted tweet from Sony? And it could have been some intern that put it up and deleted it, but it was Tom Hardy's Venom fighting Topher Grace's Venom. So some potential that Venom 3 might be a crossover, Spiderverse or Venomverse film. So that'd be crazy.
I could definitely see that happening.
Zach is going 8th sentence now.
Sorry. Let's see what we got here. We got the Spider-Punk Hobie figure from Across the Spider-Verse. It's kind of interesting. They put up that graphic like, hey, these figures are coming soon. And then like the next day they showed them. Don't really, I guess it seemed like you just post the figures the next day and not get everyone that excited. But this to me was always odd that it was excluded in that first batch. I perhaps Hot Toys didn't expect this to be the standout character of the film. Makes me wonder if we're going to see the Indian Peter Parker. I think it was God, I'm struggling to remember his name, but he also was an amazing character in the film. And I think with Hobie, we're getting closer to competing sort of Miles's team. Would definitely love to see that character being created. I think the body looks fantastic. Really glad that we didn't have to, kind of fight for this to be a suited figure. The guitar looks great. Head sculpt looks great with the spikes there. I feel like the unmasked portrait itself, I'm not loving it. I feel like it just doesn't, I don't know, it's just not working for me. Something about it that I can't quite put my finger on.
None of the sculpts in the line are particularly strong, though, the unmasked versions, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a cool character for sure. But there's just something about this that, I don't know, it's really unsettling to me. And I didn't quite feel that way with Miles or 2099 or Gwen, but there's something there. A little bit concerned about this jacket. I think over time that could be something that we have to contend with. There is a special edition exclusive on this, the sort of little watch thing that Hobie creates, and this little box. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, this is going to be a cool figure. I think a lot of people are really going to like this. And this I don't really personally want to get into this line because I did think that they messed up with Miles. And I think if you mess up the core character of the film, I think everything else, like for me, I'm just not interested, to be honest. But this is tempting for sure.
One of the things that I think is cool about Spider-Man and the Spider-Man costume is that with the mask on especially, I feel like you can put lots of different looking styles of Spider-Man together and it will still look cool. Unlike what I was saying about with the Iron Man feeling like more like a Mondoverse versus like my, live action versions, I feel like this with the mask piece on kind of could definitely fit in, especially since it doesn't have joints or anything like that silly 2099 version did at first. I could have seen them doing joints on this figure, and I'm happy to see that that's not the case. It's a badass looking figure. The guitar with like the effect around it and everything to make it look like it's kind of vibing out and stuff, super cool. I think the special edition piece there, not necessarily required. I think if you're a special edition collector, great. If not, I think you could pass without it, and it would still be a wicked piece to add to the collection. At first I wasn't like super excited about it, but the more that I've looked at the piece and how colorful it is, I am falling in love with it a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's pretty cool. I wanted the Spider-Punk from the first Spider-Man video game and passed on that one. I don't think I'm gonna make the same mistake with this one. I think this is pretty cool. The spikes out the top of the mask, badass. I disagree though on the sculpt piece, Zach. I actually think the sculpt looks exactly like how I remember the character. So I mean, I'll teach their own, I think, on that one. I think it could look good with both the sculpt on or off for folks who are getting it. So, well, yeah, I got knighted the other day, Dean, so I'm just putting it out
Wow.
there. I'm allowed to say you're wrong now, Dean?
Created a monster.
He's a little too comfortable now.
I got the short sword, now I'm ready to go.
Wow.
But yes,
you don't have a short sword.
It was actually a pretty long sword, actually.
Broadsword.
Jesus.
Damn, okay, if no one's gonna go. Yeah, so this is
It's your fucking turn.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
I'm going, guys. No, this looks great. This is one that I'm sitting here as, my figure collection is growing and growing. It's like, is this an essential one for a movie that's probably my movie of the year, for a character that was amazing in the film, but do I need it? And it looks so damn good as a figure. It's so borderline. So this is one that I need to sit back and think about a bit more. Definitely don't need the special edition, but yeah, damn, it looks so good. And I'm glad that they gave this to us. This is one that they could have, waited until the next film for. I'm assuming he's going to be a big part of that. But yeah, they're giving it to us now. So perfect. What do the rest of you guys think?
I think it looks cool. Haven't seen the movie yet, though.
You still haven't seen it? Wasn't it movie of the week?
It was movie of the week today. Jesus.
Today?
It was your pick.
You guys fucking made it super confusing. Movie of the week now, so I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Oh god.
I mean, you guys are movie of the week, movie of the month. Who's pick two at the same time? Fuck, dude.
Yeah,
At least we know we can't fake his thoughts on it later.
There we go.
Wow.
There's
Like
always
Zach
new
and
excuses.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
I watched the movie. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? Ask me a Mrs. Doubtfire question right now, Eddie. Let's go. Let's do this.
What's the
Ask me-
name of Robin Williams' boss in the movie?
Oh, that's not very. It's the old white dude.
It's
Oh,
Lou.
Hobie.
It's the old. Is it
Wow.
Hobie? No, it's the old white dude. He gets invited to dinner because he's playing with the dinosaurs.
It's not his
Ask,
name.
ask me another question. Fucking pick the most obscure question in the fucking movie.
Could have called him the Colonel at least.
Jesus.
Christ.
How dare you, Tremble Dust? I want one more shot at this, Eddie. Give me one more fucking question.
I don't know any more questions. You're good.
He didn't even
What was,
see the
that,
movie.
what was the name of his care worker or social worker?
Oh,
Okay, I
shit.
didn't pay attention to the movie that much. She was that bitchy lady that came to the apartment. Okay, so I don't know, like, is that still a thing? People, like, you have a court person with you? That's so awkward. They just show up at your house whenever?
Or an appointed
That's
person?
horrifying. Yeah, like, she just showed up right after you got off work?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I didn't pay attention to the movie that much, but I did watch it. So you fucking,
good
you
pivot.
got
That
me
was a
there,
good
Eddie.
pivot,
I'm
Zach.
gonna give you a fucking point for that. Although, to be fair, those are not key parts of the movie. Let's see.
All right, back to
here.
Hobie. I think
Eddie's
the
killing it
figure
with
looks
18 points.
fantastic. I just don't think I love the movie that much to really get 6-scale versions of any of these characters. I have Gwen and Miles and figure arts, and I feel like that's okay for me personally. But like this looks fantastic. It looks ripped right off the screen. Like it looks very well done. I'm not an expert, frame to frame, so I don't know if it's super accurate. I just know what my eyes say that it looks good.
This character must have been really hard to translate, right? Based on
You're
the
not
animation
wrong.
style.
Yeah.
And the fact that none of us are like, oh, it doesn't represent the character. Like, they've nailed this, even though it could maybe not necessarily be that screen accurate, but they've nailed the essence of the character.
Not even just this movie style, but his character in particular is
He like
very
changes
busy.
colors.
Yeah, he's a lot of lines happening, lots of like squiggles and shit. Like he's a busy guy.
I think I figured it out, Dean.
What?
I think I figured out what I don't like about it.
Okay.
Okay, in the movie, he has like lipstick, like real dark lipstick, and he doesn't have it here. It's like almost like a dark brown black lipstick.
Careful. Be careful.
Yeah.
Getting
Look,
in the
look, this
Thomas
is
territory.
Ben
look,
Thomas.
look, he's
that
got lipstick on. He doesn't have it here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good catch. Yeah.
Look right here. He's got it.
Why
You
are
know.
you staring at his lips so
Yeah, that's a really weird omission. That's a great point, Zach. Yeah, that
I
just
knew it
makes
was
the
something
face look
that was
flat.
a bit off. Yeah, I should
They
get
probably
10
did it
points for
because it
that.
didn't look as good on the figure.
That's what Inart said about the pants.
I don't think he has lipstick
kidding.
on. I just don't think his lips are as dark as they are as an act.
Okay,
as
now
Ben, be
careful.
careful.
Yeah, now we're getting tone it
I
down.
don't
a
think it's
notch.
lipstick.
It
Is all I'm
looks
saying.
like
It's
he has
not
black
lipstick. He's
lipstick
just
on.
one of them.
I did
Oh,
not say
damn,
it like
Ben.
that.
Get this guy.
Sorry.
Come on.
We're moving past
The
this.
difference
Come on.
between a beaver and an otter.
Oh God.
It was a river otter. We all know it.
Miles G.
You're not
Morales.
yourself when you haven't had your Timmy Hortons, eh?
You're not wrong. He's seen it.
Motherfucker. Miles G. Morales. Boy, this figure, in my opinion, is the entire point of this episode's discussion topic. Like, when do you need a version of a character? Miles G. Morales shows up in the last, maybe 3 minutes of the film, does all of about nothing, and we get a figure of it. And look, I feel like this figure is a little bit of a trap, because he's obviously going to be, at least in the first or second scene of the film, and he is going to play some potentially large part of the second film, or I guess third in that case. And I always say this, and I said it on After Dark a long time ago, but it's like these movies set up these great suspense cliffhangers, and then it's quickly resolved. So I hope that he does play a big part in the third film. But with that being said, he's going to have more accessories, and he's going to come with a lot more. I think this figure looks cool. The number of people that I've seen customizing this character already, perhaps there is a huge market for it. But I just think this is kind of useless. And, it's a cool figure, but, I mean, how many people are going to want to pay $400 for a figure that has all of, 3 minutes of screen time and, 1 or 2 lines of dialogue. I just don't see this being like a necessity that someone would need in their collection. At least not for me personally.
It's true, but like the fact that you say that, Zach, and then I think about like the next film, I think it's called Beyond the Spiderverse, that's supposed to be coming. That's now been pushed out like indefinitely. They don't even have a release date of that film anymore because of all the conditions of the working set, and all the conditions of like the working set previously and everything. And so like this is for the first time in a long time. It feels like we actually get a Hot Toys in our collection that we can enjoy for a little while before we get the next character representation of this same character. Because let's be honest, I think this character is going to play a pretty big part in the next movie, and whether or not he'll have the exact same outfit remains to be seen. But I wouldn't want it too close together, because then we'd have that debate of, do we really need both? At least we get to enjoy this one for a while, and it is a cool looking figure.
To that counterpoint, though, let's say that this character has all of 2 minutes of screen time in the next film. It's a quick, he gets out of the situation quickly, boom, gets out of there, and the movie progresses completely without this character. I think a lot of people would be upset, right? So it's, I could see bould sides of it, right? If this is a huge part of the next film, which I hope it would be, and I think it is, he will be, I could see that being a positive. That's why you get the point. It also could be, it's a gamble, right? It could be a huge negative, right? Like you said, the film's delayed indefinitely with the SAG after writers and strike. It's definitely a lot of stuff to consider. What do you think, Marco?
First of all, oh wow, I missed the part where your name was Marco, but go ahead, Dean. Wow. Go ahead.
Oh, did he say Marco?
I'm just trying to do a little mix up a little bit.
Okay, go ahead, Marco.
A little bit of a shuffle.
No, go ahead, Dean. It's your show. It's your show. I'm just a guest.
Jesus Christ.
Someone
all
fucking
right,
say
let's
what they like about the
move
figure.
on to Jesus Christ.
No, I'm completely with you. This was literally the last like 5 seconds of the film, and it's like, does it really warrant a whole fucking figure? Like, it just seems odd. But Zach, you and I are always laughing at people because there'll be something in like an Ahsoka episode, and before the end of the night, somebody's like made a Black Series version of it. Whether it's good or not, like they don't really give a shit. They have to be the first one to do it. And I feel like this is kind of like that. It's like, look, we did Miles G. Morales. It's like, cool, I guess. Like, it just, why? I just need my character to do something more. I mean, there's Iron Man suits I didn't even buy because they didn't do jack shit, much less Miles from a different universe that we'll never see again. It's just weird.
I'm so with you there, Dean, where it's, again, Hot Toys logic, like why go so deep down this line versus, going into, there's still figures from the Black Panther line that we're waiting on, or Wakanda Forever specifically. We're still waiting on Andor figures, right? Like we've listed numerous properties that we want to figure from. Yeah, Andor's not coming. So there's plenty of other things that we want them to do, but somehow they've gone and done this. Now, maybe because they already had the body and they already kind of had the base Miles sculpt, it was potentially easy for them to kind of mock up, but I don't think this looks particularly good. I was so hyped when this character comes out. Like, this is a mind-blowing part of the film as this unfolds. But yeah, I don't think this representation means anything to me yet, like you guys have said, and I don't think it's that cool of a figure now. Maybe as I see more, it'll become more appealing, but I just don't understand this logic at all, and definitely an easy pass for me. Thank God, because they dropped so much heat on top of the Inart, which we'll talk about. It's good to have a breather and be like, okay, this one's not for me.
Yeah. I really like the head sculpt on this figure. Like, maybe the body doesn't look that great. Like, I don't know, it looks interesting, but I really like the head sculpt. It's probably my favorite head sculpt from the line. So that tempts me, and the colors are really cool too. So it does look like a cool character. I don't know how cool the figure looks, but yeah.
Wow. I think here DJ has a good point. People buy nameless troopers or officers for Star Wars. I think they'll be all right releasing this one. And to be fair, some of Hot Toys' best figures are based on, last minute scenes. I don't want to put the cart before the horse and skip our discussion later, but Nightmare Batman, one of Hot Toys' best figures, and that shows up for just a few minutes on screen. Anyone else want to take a shot at this before we move on? No, we're good. The exclusive edition is the eye effect accessory. To me, that's kind of an odd thing to keep behind that exclusive paywall. And then just quickly, I will say I like the way they integrated the light pole into the dynamic stand. I think that's, as far as I can recall, the first time that they've done something like this. So I do like when they do these different things. But yeah, this to me, I think I'm not quite feeling it. So we'll move on. Now we talked about this maybe 3-4 weeks ago. The Cad Bane had come off of the sideshow coming soon. The product page was no longer working, and a lot of us, myself included, thought that this may mean that the figure was canceled. We've now been informed that this is a September 28th pre-order, and I think it looks good. I will just say quickly, the hands are flesh colored and they look terrible, like the little pegs at the back. I think that should be blue because you can clearly see it underneath the gauntlets. So hopefully Sideshow fixes that before it goes up officially for solicitation. But let's move on because we have a lot more to talk about. One thing actually quickly on the Clone Wars subject, people are getting their cancellations for Yoda. Looks like Sideshow may have oversold in their quantity. So if you have a Yoda figure that you haven't gotten delivered yet, check your emails. You may have had it canceled. Inart, the Superman has gone up for pre-order. This one is in the AG tier, similar to Gandalf and Aragorn. I think just from looking at all these 3 releases, the AG tier might be this more simple rectangle base, whereas the Joker, which was in the silver tier, had an option that included a large diorama base. They have taken supposedly a lot of our feedback into consideration. I definitely myself do see it. This is a cool figure. You get 2 different capes. You get a lot of scene-specific accessories like the kryptonite spear. The Marco, you're pretty familiar with this film. Is this Martha in this photo?
Yeah,
or what is this photo?
This is when Lex Luthor has her. Yeah, so this is his
okay,
mom.
Perfect.
Why'd you say that name though?
Martha. We also have the cowl of Batman, which I don't recall him ever holding.
He held it in the nightmare scene.
Oh, in
They
the
ripped it off
nightmare
his
scene.
head and-
Yep.
Oh, I like it, Eddie. I'm going to give you a point for that.
Fuck you, Marco.
I do genuinely
fuck?
like the fact that the
it's
hand
cheaped
is
up.
pre-attached to this accessory. I think that's a smart little way to do that. We also get the kryptonite peen grenade-shaped thing there, and then a little bit of a smoke effect. 2 capes, like I mentioned earlier. It does also have a very interesting way that they're doing this. It's a clear pole that you unzip the suit to port it in, which I don't hate. I don't love. There was a third-party company that did magnets. A lot of people said that it worked really well for them. There was also a lot of people that said that it would constantly fall. So I don't know that magnets are potentially the answer just yet. Really excellent work there on the hair. It's got that little sort of Superman little curl there in the front. And I got to say the capes, both wired and wireless, look fantastic. And I think this does look like a very elegant release. Very reasonably priced at $390. And again, there's the comparisons of July 21st, which was the last time that we saw it, up to today. And I got to say this is, it was already pretty good, but they took the logo size into consideration. Looks like they also changed some details on the portrait, and this is strong for me. I didn't quite love it initially, but this is definitely a very strong release.
That's definitely gone from a good cosplay version of Henry Cavill to actual Henry Cavill in the face, I think.
Yeah.
I think. I don't think that first sculpt, that neutral sculpt, was good at all. I liked the
It's
angry
better,
one,
for sure.
but the new neutral sculpt I think is a significant improvement. My only criticism here is that I think the body proportion's a little strange. I think his legs look almost too skinny in comparison to how muscular his upper body is. It's like he likes upper body day better at the gym than leg day, which isn't necessarily a Superman thing. I do think that the Hot Toys version was actually over sculpted, though. I think that they over muscularized him. I don't know if that's a real word, but
You fucked it.
If you go back and watch it, Ben, he's definitely more top heavy than he is bottom heavy, though.
is he okay?
Yeah,
Fair enough.
But it does
'cause
feel like
those-
the lower body isn't quite right yet, though.
Those
Yeah.
arms were bugging the shit out of me. So I watched the movie, and he has severely big arms and like little legs. So.
You think, yeah, he has little legs, eh? Interesting. Okay. I do think it looks cool though, and I think that semi-rooted hair thing that they're giving us is also kind of a funky thing. I don't have a blue and red suited Superman yet. I still think that this is now the best offering that's currently available. I guess it'll remain to see what production units look like, but I feel like if they're showing us this at this quality, we can expect pretty similar to what we get here. So I don't know.
So you're saying that pretty definitively that this is the best Superman offering. Go ahead, Zach, and then I can chime in.
Sorry, I just want to slide this in quickly. I guess the image didn't load the first time, but we do have a code with Kit. So if you haven't pre-ordered yet, or if you pre-ordered without a code, maybe you can message him to get it retroactively applied. It's $10 off this figure only on 16kit.com using the code CWSM. And the code expires October 28th, so you have until Thursday to pre-order it. And again, that's 16kit.com, $10 off your purchase of the Inart Superman with code CWSM. Sorry, Marco.
Heck yeah. No, all good. Great plug, and the window is open now. So I will say, Ben was saying this is the best offering for this version of Superman. I think this is the hardest sell so far in my book in terms of this being significantly better than the Hot Toys version. I've got 3 Hot Toys Henry Cavill, and I really like them. I think that they're well done figures. Is the sculpt like the best? Not necessarily, but I do like what Inart has done, taking feedback, kind of improving on the symbol, improving on the sculpt overall. So I do think it's really strong, but it's really hard to tell in the pictures that this is significantly more premium and justifies them revisiting this figure when they could have gone a different direction, when they could have gone with a different property. But I'm not going to be upset because I want them to do the BVS Batman. And I think, John has said on streams that that's something that they have plans to do. So I think with the Batman, knowing that that's coming, this one becomes an even bigger sell for me. And I do think it does look very, very nice. I have some issues with the body proportions. I do think those legs are a bit too skinny. I think the upper body can be beefed up as well. But overall, yeah, I think that it's a damn good looking figure, but it hasn't compelled me yet to just run out and purchase yet. Knowing that there's this code, it's pretty reasonably priced. And I say reasonably because, like Ben says, we've been price conditioned to, now figures that are around $400. It's like, okay, it's reasonably priced, even though it doesn't have a ton of accessories. So overall, there's enough redeeming qualities that I think I've got no issues picking this up. But it's not one that I'm like, okay, like the Joker, where like this is a must-have. I gotta go get this right now. This is more like, okay, it looks pretty good, but is it going to be that much better than what Hot Toys?
If you were like me though, Marco, and doesn't have a blue and red suited Superman, do you think then it would be the definitive one to look for, or do you think that there'd be another one you'd still tell people to look at?
I'd be careful with definitive, but I will say for red and blue,
one of the best
option to buy, not on the secondary market, right? This for sure, the best option to buy at this time, wholesale or not on the secondary market for sure. Yeah, but it's not far and away like the best representation like Inart has been selling themselves. So it's a peculiar release announcement in that it's just not pushing the brand forward, I think, as much as it could. All that being said, probably going to get it. So, I guess I'm part of the problem in that I'll complain, but at the end of the day, still order it.
I feel you're a little biased in the fact that you own 3 of them. It is the definitive Superman because the likeness is pretty plain to see that it's better than all of the Hot Toys ones.
No, I'm not saying it's not better. I guess I'm just not saying like is this so much more premium than what Hot Toys has given us?
Well, it's probably not, but judging by the fact that like if you want the blue and red one, you'd have to pay the same price. Get this one. Like,
and I guess that's what they're banking on, right? Yeah, like instead of going on the secondary market to get Hot Toys, you're going to go get this instead.
And the fact that you get a drape and a wired cape is pretty sick. And the fact that the dynamic flight pole hides anything and it looks like he's floating is pretty cool. And the fact that you get 2 head sculpts instead of 1. Do you get 2 with Hot Toys?
With certain ones, so not with the BVS version, but with this latest Nightmare version you did. I think with the Justice League red and blue that I've got here, you did as well. So.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, Eddie, that's a good point with the 2 different capes, right? Because if you were going to go get an Unreal Customs cape, that's probably about $100 shipped to you.
Yeah.
So that's $100 in value right there. You just lawyered me. I'm ordering it right now. Sorry, Gigi, it's Eddie's fault.
Thank you.
I
Wow.
didn't want to get it, but it was his fault.
Pay that tax. Quickly, I'm a fucking dingus. It's been that much of a month. It does not expire Thursday. It expires next month on the 28th. So you got plenty of time to use that. Oh, yeah, when Kit sent it to me in my head, I was like, damn, this is a quick code. Like, Jesus. No, okay, I'm a dingus, October 28th, so you got plenty of time to use it. Feel no pressure at all. Also, I did want to pull this up while you guys are giving your points. You guys are all making excellent points, but forgot to include a photo here of the sort of laser-eyed portrait, which I think looks pretty good.
I'm the only one I think that doesn't love the laser. It kind of looks like he's trying to do what's his
That's my face when I tried to put the.
Who's the guy from Scent of Woman? I forget his name right now.
Al
The main
Pacino?
actor.
Al
It looks
Pacino?
like he's trying to do an Al Pacino or Robert De Niro face. It's like, I know that his face gets crazy when he does the heat vision, but I feel like it doesn't get this flared up. I don't know.
Is he about to
Maybe
say
I
these
go look
shoes?
again.
Is that what you're referencing?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Batman.
Exactly.
Something, you stupid idiot.
It looks
you
like
cunt.
he's trying to tell Batman who's he talking to. Like, but everything else is really good.
And Marco, you're gonna get this even cheaper.
Oh, because I'm selling you my BVS version, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't
And
agree
because you're
upon a
using code
price yet, but-
CWSM for $10. Just kidding. Can you imagine?
It's true.
Marco,
it's true.
can you at least send me your BVS flight stand? Because I do love the flight stand for the BVS one over this.
Now, let me.
Oh, that's a badass. I actually have that with my Nightmare Superman right now. I'll send you a picture of it.
Yeah, that's sick.
I had seen some people, both YouTubers and other collectors, say that they were concerned about the durability of this zipper. And I know, Marco, I want to see this happen to you with the Superman figure in the past. I swear it was you. You had an issue where a zipper came undone, and you guys had to Google it, and it was a big pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And I think eventually you were able to fix it, but do you think
it wasn't broken? Oh, go ahead and ask your question. I'll tell
Well,
you.
I'm saying, do you think that there's some concern there? Because I personally have had really bad luck with 6-scale zippers. Now, granted, the luck that I'm having is, when you're doing it all the way, where you separate it, getting them back together. I've always had trouble with that. Do you think that there's any concern here, or this is just people being overdramatic?
Definitely, potentially. One amendment, really quick. I said Nightmare Superman, but I meant the black and silver suit Superman.
Yeah, the one
so
the
apologies
2-pack,
there. Yeah, there you go. In the 2-pack with the Nightmare Batman. What Gigi and I were doing, though, was trying to replicate what Inart's doing here naturally, in that with the Hot Toys body, you can take down the zipper, and then there's kind of a gap between the upper torso. So if on a flight pole you kind of wrap a paper clip around it, you can then shove, these two pieces so it doesn't have a waist clamp. And then the suit's a bit down. You can kind of have him hovering more naturally. So that I think that they've seen those mods that people have done and tried to replicate it here. Now, I haven't had an issue with my suit yet, but I do think that over time, if you're kind of futzing this up and down, it definitely could become stuck. They've got to really be careful about the type of zipper they do, or I don't think this is the best way to solve this problem. I wouldn't have done this as a feature. There's got to be a better way with magnets or something like that.
I would
man.
almost...
With magnet
Sorry,
gate
go-
on that Joker, though, I don't know if they want to even touch magnets again. But
Come
the other
on.
problem is like the headache they're going to have. Can you imagine if figures are breaking the zipper on their figure, trying to put in this figure stand the way they've been told to do it, and then it's breaking?
Yeah.
Just like their Jokers tipping over on stands that they were told that they could, the magnets
Yeah.
will hold it, and then they don't, and it's caused like so much controversy. I don't know. It feels like it's opening more of a can of worms than it's doing
Yeah,
good.
this feels like
I
it's going to be
almost-
fixed upon release. What do you think,
I
Zach?
almost feel like it would be better for them just to stop the zipper right before this and have like a stitched in hole. Like you're never going to see it with the cape, maybe with the drape, but it almost seems like they're creating a problem that has never existed. Now, I will say that the clamps that come with Hot Toys figures, you can absolutely destroy your suit with those. I've seen it with Superman figures. I've seen it with Spider-Man figures. Those are not without their own faults. So there certainly isn't a perfect solution yet. And like I mentioned, the one company that did the black suit Superman with the magnets, I saw about 50-50. People were saying it has never fallen for me. People were saying they couldn't get this figure to last more than 20 minutes without it falling. So it's certainly a tough... it's certainly
Nut
a tough
to swallow.
tough nut to swallow, Ben. I think you're right.
You know what
I think you're...
what I'm noticing now too with it? You can't do a flight pose like
That's
parallel
that's
flight
true,
pose with
Eddie.
that.
Wow. Yeah.
That
Yeah,
sucks.
you're limited to just that the
God
verticality. Eddie, I'm gonna. Yeah, look at us
That's like the
tearing
difference
this.
between
How,
me and
wait,
Ben.
how the hell does Eddie have 19 points now? In one
Because
I
he-
am
he
that
had-
fucking
he had-
good, man.
No, he had one. He had a real good episode, but he also
Oh,
had
yeah.
some of the when we're guessing the figures. One of his finally converted over, so he got 6 points just for that.
Wow.
So
He
I need to
also
recount.
he also spent the night at Zach's one night. I don't know what happened.
Wow.
Okay, there we go.
wow,
Yep.
he got his. But we tried the Baldo together.
That's something.
Jesus
Something is afoot. That's amazing. I will say though, Equan's spot on. They should have taken my idea to just have him float. Like that's the simplest solution there. Just use the magnets, have him float. Boom.
I
So,
agree.
maybe upon final release.
Ninja Squirrel says you'd think they'd QC test this before greenlighting this for final. You would say that about the Joker base, but I think I've seen more people that have had it fall than have not had it fall. Have going down the line, have you guys had any issues with yours?
Mine's
Not
fallen.
while
Mine's
I had
fallen.
it out. It's never fallen. But I only had it out for like a couple months. So
I don't
Mine's
use
fallen,
the
but I think
magnetic
it's the
base
tip.
anymore.
I also think it's the tip of Joker's shoe. You can't he doesn't have a full foot stance. He's on his heel a little bit, or he's on his toe, depending on how you angle it. I have most of the collection here not even on a base, and I've never had issues with falling like I do with the magnet base on that one. I actually took him off the magnet base altogether and put him straight to the cabinet.
Yeah,
Wow.
Would
you
I'm
guys,
the same way. My guy's up there with no magnet base, and yeah, you're totally right. It's the design of the shoe that really messes it up. It's a bad combo. What's that, Eddie?
I kind of would prefer a Fison body under the suit because I hate seeing the joints under his very thin, like tight suit. That was one of my problems with the Hot Toy, and I can still see them here. And I kind of wish they'd do a Fison just so it would look even more real. Because yeah, I mean you can't see it a lot, but you could see it in the elbows and you could see it in the hips. And so like, I kind of wish they do fight, but then they wouldn't be able to do that peg for the flight stand that they're trying to do. But
True, but Eddie, that would have taken it to the next level, right? We're talking about like, okay,
Yeah.
how does this become that much more premium? If they would have said we're using a custom Python body on this, this is like so much better than the Hot Toys version. It could have totally even more justified its
But
existence.
then it's not Inart anymore. It's a collaboration with Bison.
Well, okay, then they said
No,
that
they
they're
could
making
do
all
their
custom
own.
bodies, so why don't they do their own?
Yeah.
Yeah.
doesn't
Daniel
Iconic
says-
do their own?
Yeah, they do.
Well,
Daniel
no,
said
but they partner with TB League though.
that is correct. Daniel says that of thousands of people, supposedly 15,000 Jokers out there, only like 15 people have had it fall. I would disagree with that greatly. 6 Scale Reviews says it's hard to say for sure what will work and what won't until we get it in hand. It's a weird flight stand, but hopefully it works out. I've seen people that have talked shit about other people that have had their Jokers fall, and then within a week of getting it have had their Jokers tumble off a shelf and
Yeah,
get
it's definitely
damaged.
more
So
than
it's
15 people.
Niculio says they have to add more of a chrome effect to
Yeah.
the body / undersuit. It almost looks like the suit's covered in chalk in some shots because it is so dull.
I agree.
Yeah. Eddie's SpongeBob says they could use a peg on the Fison body. Fison's wing figures use pegs on the back. Yeah, I believe this is a peg system that they have here. I do also like the assortment of hands. I think these look very good. I think, to me, one of Inart's strongest points is the sculpts that they're doing on the hands. It's a subtle thing to get right, but I think for characters like Gandalf that have very specific accessories that he has to fit with, or Superman that has very expressive gestures, I think this is fantastic, and I think it's great to see a company finally doing this. One of my biggest pet peeves is when people put together, customs that are worth thousands of dollars of parts and everything, and then they use the generic, hands that came with the body. It just completely ruins everything for me. So love that they're giving a little extra attention to these. Now, Ben sent me this photo. This is the 2022 to 2023 Inart product plan. In phase 1, initially was the Batman, Mara, Black Adam, Joker, Joaquin Phoenix, Batman, Ben Affleck, Wonder Woman, Superman, Christian Bale, Batman, Gandalf, Legolas, Aragorn, Ringwraith, Pennywise, Daenerys Targaryen, Harry Potter, and Paul Atreides. For pre-order, we've gotten the Batman, Superman, Gandalf, Aragorn, Pennywise, and Harry Potter, and then we've also seen Paul Atreides. We've also seen Michael Jackson, which isn't on this list. And I believe the rumor is that the Joker figure is going to be their first Rhodium tier figure. On this, I just really can't imagine them making a Mara figure or a Black Adam from this list. I feel like these are very obvious ones that could be on the chopping block, but I guess we shall see. But it's nice to see that they are actually slowly chugging into having all these shown, or at least elicited at some point. So it feels like they've been very disjointed, but I mean, this is what they set out to do, and they're doing it. So props to them.
I hope they do Mara. I'm really. She's still in the movie. Yeah, she had the whole thing with Johnny Depp, but like that has nothing to do with her being Mara at all. So I still think people would even buy the figure. So, I mean, the fucking J&D $3,000 statue sold out. So, I think that figure is wanted, even over Black Adam. So,
but why
everybody
Mara?
wanted
No
a sticker in the
Aquaman?
bed.
they definitely need to do Aquaman, but so maybe Mara, them doing a Mara is what you guys are saying by them not doing characters that haven't been done before. Maybe they're doing Mara as like, there's 2 Aquaman. We'll start with Mara and then we'll do Aquaman after. But also, I don't know. My second point was gonna be that Aquaman isn't in those movies, but because Aquaman's not in the nightmare scene, right? But she's in the nightmare scene in a different movie, so I don't know.
Okay, but yeah, so the Aquaman from Hot Toys, none of them have been that strong, right? I think that's one that Inart could really distance themselves to, again, justify its 100%. existence.
Yeah.
The chat is saying that this list isn't necessarily valid anymore, but I think the thing that upsets me, and I think Dean, you mentioned this earlier, is that basically everything on this list, maybe save for Mara, there is an equivalent already made in 1/6 scale, and I feel like
and Paul,
even the Michael Jackson and Paul has the Og toys. I really want to start to see them branch out. I know they kind of teased the Monkey King in the past, but I want to see them do something original, because I think if they're just constantly trying to make better versions of other figures, I feel like it's impressive, but it's not like that impressive to me.
Yeah, it's almost like just kind of cocky. Like, look what we could do. And it's like, okay, cool, but I have 8 Batman in my collection. Why do I need to fuck another one? Like, make an Alfred, make a fucking Clayface, make a fucking Riddler. Like, why does it have to be Batman?
Okay, because none of those figures would sell as well as Batman.
Yeah, they need to get some capital under their belt first, I think, is the big thing.
And it's fine for them to dip again, but they've really got to justify why they're doing that figure and why they're innovating.
No, I want the best Batman, though, and I think their Batman would be better than all of the other ones that are out there.
They've got a chance to knock it out of the park with that BVS Batman. If they do like a crazy body, if the materials are awesome, that could be like an elite figure, but they've really got to nail it.
Yeah. But like, let's just say this list, only one of these characters doesn't have a figure that exists already.
Yeah, but
Mara.
Most of them don't have the best. Like all of the Lord of the Rings ones.
I mean,
Batman.
If you compare the complete, Daenerys would be definitely welcome, because 3-0 did not do a very good job with Daenerys. But their Game of Thrones line is not anything to wave a stick at. It's pretty fucking solid. The later it got, the better their figures got.
You saying Asmus?
Asmus? Yeah, the same thing, dude. The new complete Gandalf with the new head sculpt. I mean, that's not much worse than the fucking Inart one, and you get the pants price.
Well,
yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, it's also $200 cheaper too.
Yeah.
I just want to see them do something original, right? Like, I need to see them step out of like a comfort zone. I need to see how this Monkey King, like, I want them to make something that we can't sit here and say, well, this is one version, this is their version, and we can pick and choose. I want to see something original. SpongeBob,
So-
yes, many companies.
Yeah,
have
because
made
like, what's the market like in Asia on all these characters? Is it?
I think, I don't know. I know Marvel's big. I think DC and everything else isn't that big in Asia.
Are any of these Marvel? None of these are Marvel.
Yeah, Og Toys is a licensed
But I think
company,
you guys are kind
Jimmy.
of pigeonholing them by saying because Hot Toys already made it, they're not allowed to.
I'm
Like
not saying
they're
No,
not.
I'm not
in
saying that
Asia.
at all. I'm saying I want to see them do something different.
Yeah.
But they're so far what we've had is significantly better than its counterpart for the other companies.
I would agree. I would perhaps maybe not the Batman because we haven't seen Hot Toys' final product. I mean, it's looking that way that it will be that Inart's will be better. But I guess I just want to see something new, right? Like I feel like there's so many cool IPs out there. Like I just want to see a new thing. Like the Monkey King, admittedly not my cup of tea, but it's a new thing that I don't think any other 1/6 companies have made.
Yeah, that'd be cool
I will say for their lists as well.
Rooted arms. And legs.
Don't go by any of their lists that they put out. They've put out several lists for statues, and none of them are complete. 0 of them now, and they've canceled half of the friggin' list that they've put out that they said that they were gonna do. So, I'm actually surprised to see this many check marks on this list.
Yeah.
So
It's good to know about their track record because I didn't know that. And that's why I've been asking, like, John, are you going to do another one of these? I think now they would rather do a bit more freestyle because this puts them in a corner. So, but at least communicate, like, this is invalid and we're not going to do this anymore.
And I think Alvin J made a really good point here as well. And I'll read Daniel's point quick, and then I'll say Alvin J's.
Oh, do Alvin's first. Do Alvin's first.
So Alvin J says, but to be fair, when they did their poll, look at what people wanted, all the figures that have been done. Because it's true, like the majority of the selection of the majority of collectors were saying they wanted Batmans and Supermans and these figures. And when I think of like, you know, like most recognizable superhero names, like if you go up to any person that you'd have no idea whether they're a collector or even a superhero fan and say, name 3 superheroes, most people are going to be able to say Superman, Batman, and at least Spider-Man. And 2 of those are on here because they will sell, like Eddie is saying. And then Daniel says, and Viper is passionate about the Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. Seems like they're doing passion projects. They clearly have expressed wanting to do more Harry Potter. And also, obviously, it depends on what licenses they're given. They are restricted by that as well.
I feel like Viper's not, from my point of view, that passionate, or at least Inart as a company about Lord of the Rings. There's so much shit that they got wrong that,
and look, and
we had
look
to
what
correct
Tim
them
Harvey
on.
says. Caustic Plastic is doing IPs that no one else is doing, and they sell. People want these figures. It's
who the fuck is Caustic Plastic?
The ones that do like the John Wayne and all the Draculas and the...
Yeah, but who the fuck is talking about those? Name one.
We talked about them last
channel.
week.
We talked
We
about
talked
them
about them last
like,
week.
Nobody. They're
Eddie doesn't
not.
watch last.
No one cares, dude.
I care.
Wow.
Hey,
Hey,
they're
don't
buying
be
them.
like
They're
that.
selling out.
Yeah.
And they're not selling out at $200. They're selling
selling
out
like
at
fucking
$600.
Chat, am I wrong? Who the fuck is talking about Caustic Plastic? Get the fuck out of here.
When you go to the
DJ
next one,
says-
say, speaking of no one cares.
The fact Viper doesn't speak English is a deal breaker. Speaking of things that no one cares about, just kidding, Ben. Ben's such a sweetheart. I would
I
never.
just
do that
wanted to make
Ben.
one more point about the Inart thing.
Yeah.
Because they put up a poll, and that was all like North American people, right? It's like, but they're not in the North American market; they're in the Asian market. Like, why are they pandering to us and not the Asian market? It's just weird. It's like, I mean, even Hot Toys made that fucking battle future soldier fucking thing.
Well, maybe they are though. Like I know, like John is just the representative for like North America and kind of the liaison between the company
Maybe
and
they are.
English
We
speaking
haven't seen
folks, right?
shit.
He said, I'm pretty sure he said that himself, that he's the representative for us and the communication liaison between company and people out this way. Whereas I'm sure there are other people who, and other marketing groups and other Facebook pages and stuff that are dedicated to that market as well,
But then
to
why are
capture
we
as
seeing
much
shit
info.
from that market?
Well, maybe we just don't know where to look. That's kind of thing, right? Like maybe we're not just part of those lists or that
Okay,
communication.
you
Dean,
find
these
me
are-
an Inart figure that we've never.
I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could. Oh, I'm not saying an Inart figure that we've never seen before.
Okay, I want to
I'm just
clarify.
saying lists that are like gaining like
Because
what do
people
want
are
lists.
taking this as if I'm saying the figure they want, I don't care about. Nosferatu and Superman, who's going to sell better? Come on, guys.
Nosferatu.
Definitely
Been around for like
Dracula.
200 years.
Yeah.
Wow. And I just will say that
He's
these
immortal.
are definitely being marketed to us, whether they have the license to distribute here or not. They're finding a backdoor way to get them to us. So these are absolutely made for their market and our market, whether they have the legal right to or not. These are made for us.
Collection Obsession says maybe Inart is redoing figures they have already been done before by other companies to establish how much better they can be. But at what point do you like, okay, we get it, like let's move on? I feel like I've already hit that point, right? With just the 2 figures. Pennywise as well, I guess the 3 figures.
See, but this is the problem, though.
But I don't
The
agree that they're
Asmus,
just doing
no
icons.
one-
Pennywise
you
to me
love
isn't
the
an
Asmus
iconic.
stuff, but no one else, like a lot of people
Well,
don't.
no, even I think that
So
the
that's
Inart
brand new
Gandalf
for
is
them.
better.
That like they're hitting a collection that people have been wanting forever. Like even
I don't think that
even
Inart
Marco's
really-
finally got an Aragorn.
Blue,
Yeah,
I
but
don't
this is
think
all
that-
like super opinionated.
Yeah,
Super.
You're right, but I don't think that they do take feedback. There's a lot of feedback that we
Super
gave them.
opinionated on our show about our opinions. That's weird.
Yeah, you can eat my ass, Dean.
Wow,
When and where, bro?
it's a whole lot of
You
eating.
were just here. You
You
didn't
missed the
present it?
opportunity. He was on the couch with you.
Wow. Anyways, that's
Subjective.
I don't think that they take feedback, to be honest. But apparently, there's someone that
He's literally the only fucking guy that goes on streams and fucking fix it. He took your staff fucking opinion. What the
didn't
fuck?
take a lot else.
The
I will
print.
say
That was
this-
after
the
that was after
fucking
the
print.
that was after
Here
the
we
whole
go, man.
that was after the whole community rallied about the staff that they somehow
the
didn't know
Superman,
about.
Where's Hot Toys?
On the
that
Superman
everybody's fucking praising. Where's Caustic Plastic?
No one's praising Hot Toys. We
Just
haven't
wait until
said
Hot Toys
does
puts
better.
out, the Scarlet Witch, that it's all actually real leather. Just wait until they make that announcement. But I will say that Inart,
The double artisan line.
there you go, double artisan. Inart took our feedback and made this Superman better. So I will say that they are at least listening to some feedback.
But
there.
here's the thing, though. Now they have they have a chance to do it again because there's still a lot wrong with the Superman that collectors have pointed out. Now let's see if they take that feedback into consideration because
They
was very
literally
unclear.
already
It was very
listening to you.
it was
Half
very
of them.
unclear with the Gandalf at what point it was final because a week before it came out they're like, oh, we actually just took away one thing and added another thing. So I don't know. I guess at what point any of these figures are finalized because it seemed like that was the whole reason they didn't want to resubmit things for the pants. And then, randomly they're like, oh, we just threw in some fireworks and changed the eyes. So.
This pants thing is gonna hold them down for years. We're not gonna hear
It
the
really
end of
is.
the pants.
You're not
Can I-
gonna hear that. I want
add one-
Inart to release new pants. I want a pants upgrade set.
Wow, holy
That'll be
cow.
Williams here.
Reversio says, what IPs would you all want to see that have not been done by Hot Toys? Which is a good question because
Mrs.
Hot Toys is
Doubtfire and her boss.
right, and her social worker. Hot Toys has had an opportunity to have so many licenses now for so long that they have definitely spread their reach pretty far. And some of the IPs that are left that haven't been touched, it's hard to know how they'd be received. But one that comes to mind, honestly, is Star Trek for me. And it's going to be a segue into what we look at next. But
What did he say?
There are, I would say, over half of the community that watches my little YouTube channel are Star Trek fans. There's a massive ask for higher quality Trek pieces, and honestly, like Exo 6 hasn't been delivering lately, and those people are getting pissed. Like today, I put out a video, and within 15 minutes, I had 30 comments all talking about Star Trek.
damn.
It's generating so much like content and so much like conversation. It's an IP that I think is missed, and they don't talk about Battlestar Galactica is another one. There's some amazing Battlestar Galactica, stuff out there that I think we could use in 6 scale. But I see your point, Zio. Hot Toys has capitalized the licenses for a pretty.
I don't think
long
I've
time.
ever gotten
But
30
it's-
comments on my YouTube channel to this point, like total. So that's pretty crazy.
It's not,
great.
but
It
it's
is
not
crazy.
even just IPs, right? It's characters. It's like I don't need to see another 8 fucking Superman. Do
I don't
other
know.
characters. Do a Lex
The
Luthor,
moment he
do
started talking about Star Trek and Battlestar, my 4th Superman started sounding great,
Yeah.
actually. So
Yeah.
or like with the Batman line, like start doing do the Rogues Gallery. Start making those fucking characters.
James
Like,
Bond,
Why,
Nuclear.
why does it have to be Batman over and over and over again?
To
James
Jimmy's
Bond would be fucking
point,
sick.
we did tear into the Vader. I've always said that their Vaders are not particularly good, except the quarter scale. I think the quarter scale is a perfect.
Yeah, you
figure
did a-
almost.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
you
definitely
have torn
equal
up others.
opportunity roasters. We're not.
What
love that. That should
atrocious
be a sticker.
Vader? What was the atrocious Vader?
I don't like the Vader the helmet that they use. I don't think it looks like
the new one, or he said there's an atrocious one though. I don't think there's an atrocious.
You
Vader.
really ripped into the Rogue One Vader, which I was surprised about.
Yeah.
Zach. But
yeah.
And he owned it.
I've got to take
Fucking
us on a
everything.
quick little detour here because we mentioned the writers' strike earlier, but I don't know if everyone has
Sure.
seen the news, but they're going back
Oh,
to
did it
work
break?
on Wednesday. Yeah,
Oh,
so
God.
TV and movie writers begin returning to work on Wednesday.
So who won the strike after all this fucking shit? Did the fucking
I think
actors win?
maybe we can cover it next show, but I think there's concessions when it comes to AI writing, when it comes to data sharing for streaming. So I
Yeah.
think that there was a
As
split
long
of
as
the
I could share
difference for sure.
passwords with Marco, that'd be good. Whatever that.
There we go.
Yeah, Jimmy, we're all equally. We'll roast anything. So
Okay,
yeah,
but let me roast Jimmy for a second real quick, because
Jesus
this sounds
Christ.
like you hating on the fucking pan print when it's like, yeah, all the Vaders like, oh my god, the fucking color on the left side of the fucking cheek is not.
that's
correct,
important.
and the
That's a
fucking-
real
the
thing.
curve
You're
in the
saying
fucking
that in
helmet, like,
spite,
no,
but that's a real.
They're still
that's a real
good
thing.
Vaders. They're just
That's
not
a real thing,
100% accurate to people
But
that
that's
fucking
what we.
stare at
That's
every
what we
fucking
buy them
detail.
for. That's
No,
what I buy
that's
them for.
what some people buy them for. Everybody will still love that fucking Gandalf without the prints on the pants. Everybody
Nah,
still
there's-
loves
Wait,
those
but you're
Vaders.
contradicting yourself because
No,
like,
I'm not.
Oh,
I
people
am
don't
not.
care about the accuracy and how good it is.
No,
so
I
they'll
did
buy
not
it
say
anyway.
that. I did
but
not say
then-
that. I
but
said
then
most
you're like,
people don't care how accurate it is. That's what I said. If you're gonna fucking call me out, then you call me out right.
No, you're definitely contradicting yourself.
No, I'm not. You're just mad because I don't want a fucking Clayface and a Riddler and a fucking thing that won't sell.
You just want 18 fucking Batman?
Yeah.
I don't even know why you're arguing it, because you don't like Batman or Superman.
I'm getting into Batman, and I've been trying to
This
buy a
year?
Superman.
This year.
I've been getting into Batman over the past like 2 years.
Okay,
I have a bunch
2
of Batman
years.
figures now. I don't have a 6-scale one. I need one.
So it looks like
What do we do, Cap? We fight.
I have
you would
armored
need a new Batman, correct?
I
You
have
would need a
armored
new
Batman.
1/6 Batman then.
I need this Superman to go with the Batman. But
Oh
that would
my
actually be
god,
pretty
you
fucking
need
dope.
it? You
yeah,
motherfucker.
I said that like 2 weeks ago when this was announced.
So why the fuck are you arguing with me?
Sometimes
I'm
it's
not.
just
I'm just saying Inart is boring. I could
Eddie,
go
now you
buy-
know how we feel. You're the
I-
contrarian. We're being the contrarians today.
I could go buy fucking 4 different Hot Toys versions of Superman. I didn't need an Inart version. I want to see Inart do.
So you want to go
something
back and
cool
buy a shittier version for the same price?
for a cheaper price.
Yeah, he wants it for
Conquer
free.
Knight says, guys, nobody cares about those pants prints. I've had many people tell me that they care, and by many I mean 2. Tim Harvey, the writer strike is over, but the actors are still on strike. Okay, so looks like we won't have. We'll have to be the next actors.
Then we'll get-
Yomo says, "Thank you, Zach." Let's
Maybe
move
we'll
on
get
here.
across the Spiderverse part.
We haven't
2
had a
soon.
conversation like that in years.
But the best part is we're all still good. Star
No, I
Trek.
fucking hate it, man.
Wow,
I hate him more.
bro, Eddie got you so fucking good on Sunday. I literally cried laughing. That's how funny that was.
That's
No,
not
he got me
Voyager.
back today.
Wait, okay, we just have to talk about that tonight. I'm confused.
I don't even. Ben, how the fuck do you pronounce this name?
Belana Torres.
Thank you, Belana Torres.
This looks like that fucking Australian streamer girl.
How does an alien have a Hispanic?
Who's the girl that
last name?
stopped? Who's the girl that stopped streaming? Leslie.
Oh,
she's
no, this
she's
looks
half
nothing like
human and
Leslie.
half Klingon.
What the fuck? It does look like Leslie.
Leslie's an angel.
Oh,
How
okay.
dare you?
Look, I like Leslie. I'm just saying it looks like.
How dare you? This isn't. This is not rooted, correct? This is a sculpted. It's weird. Like on the sides, it
sculpted.
looks okay. It looks almost rooted on the sides. This one is coming in at 180 plus 25 to ship. The pre-order cutoff date is October 10th. I'll be honest. I will cede to Ben's better judgment because I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, so I mean, Belana Torres, she's half human, half Klingon. She appears in Star Trek Voyager. She comes from, well, she doesn't come from the Delta Quadrant, but she's thrust into the Delta Quadrant at around the same time Voyager is, and that's part of the show. Part of the appeal of the show is that they need to get home to the Alpha Quadrant on the starship. She's previously part of the Maquis, as she's brought into Starfleet in the Delta Quadrant and becomes both lieutenant, junior grade, and then she becomes the chief engineer for the starship. Awesome character, badass lady. Definitely will tell you kind of where to stick it. Like she's like does not take shit type of
hope she
person at
does.
all. She's awesome. She's an awesome character. I know some people said she's annoying because sometimes she's like a little too like hard-headed, but she's also half Klingon, so she has to be. So
She does look
She's
hard-headed.
hard-headed.
Jesus.
I didn't even think of that. Okay. This is why I said Star Trek needs to be adopted by other companies at some point, because this is probably the second or third best figure we've seen from the Star Trek Voyager line, and it's still kind of soft. It's still kind of like it's like I know who it is. I know who it is better than the Tom Paris. I know who it is better than even the Harry Kim. But like she's still not like when we look at so many other XO6 figures, even from other portions of XO6 lines, like my Data from First Contact, the Picard from Season 3 that they've shown us, those figures look pretty solid, and then we see some of them from Voyager and they're so soft. So anyways, it comes in at $180 with a $25 ship rate. You can pre-order it with XO6 up until October 10th. They're saying that it's going to be available by the end of October. So to me, that says these are pretty much already done in the oven. They're ready to go. Like we're going to start seeing these within a month. At least that's what they're saying in their solicitation. The price is okay, but she comes with the standard phaser, tricorder, and personal access display device that so many of the other characters now come with, that I'm starting to recognize that it's very much like a mass-produced set of accessories, which to me tells me that that should drive the price for this figure down, not up, and this is trending upwards. This is $10 more expensive than the Tom Paris was, and I get it, inflation's a thing, but because B'Elanna is not necessarily a primary character, I feel like they need to make the price point more accessible for collectors to be more willing to consider adding non-primary characters to their collections, especially if they're not going to give us different accessories per release. If they're going to give us these mass-produced, it starts to lose its luster after a while. I do think that she could have come with other things, including like a briefcase that she normally carries when she's, needs her engineering equipment out of. She could have come with like an overcoat, a lab coat. She could have maybe come with different hair pieces because she had multiple different hairstyles through the seasons. She could have even come with her human face, which at one point she's able to get rid of her Klingon genes and she has just like a human face. Could have been cool to have a different sculpt to give her.
That seems racial.
Anything would have been appreciated at this point. The one thing I will say shout out to 6 Scale Mafia. This is the first time he's been able to do the solicitation pictures for a figure, and I think that they're better. They're clearer. The color between photos is more consistent. It does give us a better look at the figure itself, for better or for worse, right? I mean, you see some of those softer details more because they haven't purposely blurred the photo like the last photographer was doing. So for that, I'm happy about it that we actually get a chance to see what this is going to look like. The Tuvok is sold out like crazy because people want the yellow suited outfit for other kit bashes and stuff. So this might still do well. It's hard to say.
Let me ask you this, because this is the only thing that confuses me with XO6. And maybe you could expand on it. Because I know enough about Star Trek, but I'm not an expert. But it seems like every time they release a figure, it's in a different fucking different line. So it's like, oh, this one's Voyager, this one's from the movie, this one's from the show, this one's from this show, this one's from Deep Space Nine. Why don't they just focus on one line, finish it, and then start working on the next line? Why are they jumping around all over the place? Is there a reason?
I can't confirm this. This is only speculation. But at this point, my speculation is that there's multiple branches of XO6 working on figures at the same time. I think that they have like A teams and I think that they have B teams. And I honestly think it's the B team that got the Voyager line as opposed to some of the other lines like the Wrath of Khan that we're seeing now starting to be solicited. Or again, even the Picard Season 3, which are like, the quality is like vastly different. It looks like they're painted differently. They're sculpted better. Like, there's such a vast difference in the quality options. But you're not wrong, Dean. It's interesting because you're not an XO6 collector that you're asking that question, because most of us are asking the same question. Like, why haven't you given us Kirk and Spock from the Wrath of Khan yet? Why haven't we got Data to go along with our Picard from the Next Generation yet? Or any of the other casts from the Next Generation yet? Like, why did you start with the Locutus? Which I love Locutus, so I mean, I'm happy they are, but why give us Locutus and not somebody else? Why give us Savick last week for the Wrath of Khan and not Kirk from the Wrath of Khan to get the line started? Like, they're very much jumping all over the place, and it just seems to be like it's whatever's done in the oven at that time is what we're going to get that month. But it really spreads everybody out and spreads the lines really thin. And as I said, if they're going to give us B characters first, then make the price more accessible, especially if you're going to give us mass-produced accessories per box.
Is that spread out tactic to keep you in the game, keep you looking to wait for characters that you really want? Like, okay, this is one that I want, but maybe there's another one in the same line that I'm going to wait for. And so they can kind of keep you buying X06 in the meantime. Is that maybe the strategy?
And again, speculation. I can't confirm, obviously, 100%. I know Nanjin has kind of hinted at that being the reason, but I don't think that reason necessarily makes sense, because a business like that's in 6 scale, at least from what I know of 6 scale, is predicated on making money per figure. And if you're going to put in the R&D and the money into making a B character that then people are like, I'm willing to wait for the next one, then how will they ever have the capital to be able to make the next one unless they increase the prices, which is what has been happening. And they keep reopening the windows for these figures now. These figures have these windows, and then suddenly a new batch of stock is back on the website again, and it's back up for pre-order. Like, get it today. That's now happened with a couple of the figures in the last couple months that had kind of disappeared, like went out of stock, and are now suddenly back in stock. So is the demand really there? Is that why the prices are going up? What's going on? Why not give us your A-team first, and we can branch out the lines from there? If they'd even given us all of the captains in the best possible quality, like possible, then every Star Trek collector could have at least had one really good captain from every starship in their collection, and that been it. But not even that can be said.
Because there was other companies doing Star Trek figures, weren't there?
QMX used to do them before they went out of business. And then Nanjin worked for QMX.
And they had Picard. Did they do like a Kirk and a Spock? And
I don't remember if they did a Kirk and the Spock. I want to say that they did, but I don't remember. I know that they definitely had Picard.
Because I remember seeing, I think even Pete has a display with the chair. And maybe they're doing what Inart should be doing. It's like, let's do the other character because there's already companies that did these, and we'll just do those later. We'll just do the random characters first.
Damn. Okay, this just made the point not to do that though, because once you're on Ilana B. Torres or whatever,
are you sure? Because apparently they've been selling out anyway.
Bro, I need to make some Balana B. Torres. I need to get 30 comments on a video. Like I've ever had that. Making me jealous. Look at this. We got good old Spotchka in the chat. Collection Obsession says Nanjin just posted this week. He's saving the best for last, i.e., the next generation. And what's TOS, Ben?
TOS. Oh, the original series.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. And Sean Forster says Kirk, Spot, Bones, Scotty, Sulu, Khan, and Picard for QMX.
There we go.
Thanks,
Sean. Boy, we're running real long here. I'm gonna just blow through the next few of these here. We got Dr. Zero. This is by Dragon Toys, Mr. Freeze. Great to see there. He's got a light up helmet and UV backlight glow. Again, this is by Dragon Toy.
Is that what he looks like in the movie? It's been a long time.
It's been a long time, but this is the Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
I don't remember him looking like this at all.
That doesn't really look like Arnold Schwarzenegger all that much, though, I don't think. But he definitely looks like this. He comes in the first scene. He shoots, like, it's when there's the scene with Batman and Robin with the ice skates and they're skating around beating the villains. This look exists in the movie a couple times at the end of the movie. Yeah, he's in it quite a lot.
All right, we'll go through here. 3 Zeros re-releasing the Rangers as part of the Fig Zero line. They will be up for pre-order September 28th at 9 a.m. Hong Kong time. The price is the White Ranger $119 and the other Rangers are $99.
I thought they didn't go up in price.
Very true. We have the Elden Ring Nendoroid Iron Fist Alexander and the Jar Baron. This is November 2024 for $54. And then we'll just skip through all this. This is the Tokyo Game Show Square Enix Final Fantasy VII Showcase. One thing I would also mention, if you do have a pre-order with Sideshow, if it's been a while, you can go and edit your shipping. And a lot of people are saying they're saving $6 to $10 plus per order that they've edited. So looks like Sideshow has been able to finally get those shipping costs down. And so if you have, someone with 10 pre-orders, that might be $60 back in your pocket right there. So just wanted to throw that out there, as pretty much everyone on this thread had been able to save some amount of money.
Sorry, Zach, before you get into the main one, we had missed a slide, but So Toys has also shown a teaser image of Mr. Freeze in his bathrobe look from the
Yeah.
film with his fuzzy slippers on as well.
Yeah,
If
so
that's the
two
look
looks.
you guys are looking for.
Yeah, I
was
wasn't
saying we
sure-
were going to get that look, and I was like, no chance are they ever going to do the bathrobe. Who wants that? But Sosa's
Yeah.
doing it, I guess.
Yeah. So, and
Let's,
Mars has teased a head that looks like it could come with it too, but we'll see.
Yeah. Let's go to movie of the week. We'll skip our discussion today because I feel like we already touched on it earlier, and I really don't want us to just repeat everything from an hour ago. Across the Spiderverse was our movie of the week. Did everyone watch it? I think Eddie, you hadn't gotten to it, but do we have enough people here that we can just briefly talk about it?
No spoilers.
After reuniting with Gwen Stacy, Brooklyn's full-time friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is catapulted across the multiverse where he encounters a team of spider people charged with protecting its very existence. However, when the heroes clash on how to handle a new threat, Miles finds himself pitted against the other spiders. He must soon redefine what it means to be a hero so he can save the people he loves the most. I love this movie. I think it really pits Miles against the overarching theme of Spider-Man, right? For the greater good, with great power comes great responsibility. And in the film, he's left with an impossible choice, right? There are things in this film that are considered canon events that have to happen. And I know that we've seen every Spider-Man film, and it's like, oh gosh, Uncle Ben has to die, or this has to happen, or this happens. And in this film, they kind of set those up as being critical moments to creating a spider hero character. And you know, put in that position, I'm 100% on Team Miles here. 2099 ends up being a big part of this movie as sort of the antagonist role for a portion of it, along with the Spot. Such a great ensemble cast. This is a movie where if you blink, you miss even just the smallest cameo of different spider characters. So I want to be a little bit vague because I do want Eddie to be able to enjoy this film, but this is a great movie. I would say perhaps a little less good than the first film. I felt like this, you could definitely tell this movie is a two-parter, right? They kind of dropped that part one fairly early into the release cycle before it came out, but it is very much a part one of two, where I felt like Into the Spider-Verse felt like a beginning, a middle, and an end. This one you get a beginning and a portion of the middle. So I give it a 9 out of 10, though. I think this is a fantastic film. Step away for 2 seconds.
I've really enjoyed this movie. It's tons of fun. Like Zach said, every inch of the screen is some kind of cameo or Easter egg. My really only complaint about this movie is Miles seems to be the only person that fits the persona of Spider-Man, where it's like, I'm going to do everything I can to save this person. And every other Spider-Man is like, don't even bother. It's like, since when the fuck would Spider-Man ever say or do that? It just kind of took me out of the movie. Like, Spider-Man's supposed to be the best of all of them. Like, that's what makes him so good, is he looks out for the little guy because he was the little guy. Like, that's kind of what drove him to be Spider-Man. You know, with great power comes great responsibility, except fuck that guy. It just makes no sense for the character. That was my only biggest complaint, because it's literally Miles against the multiverse of Spider-Man that are chasing after him and stopping, or trying to stop him. It was very weird to me. But you get a lot of cool characters. Hobie, very cool. Gwen was a standout in this movie. I really loved all the Gwen stuff.
Did you cry? Be honest.
No, I didn't cry, but I did really enjoy the family moments between Miles and his mother and his father. You see them kind of butting heads, but then kind of really coming together as a family and supporting Miles, and that was really cool to see. But like Zach said, it's a part one of two, so like the does seem like it kind of drags sometimes. It's like, okay, can we get this going? But it's so good that you almost don't even mind. So yeah, it's easily a 8, 9 out of 10. It's a really good movie. I think the first movie is a 10 out of 10. It's pretty close, but the stylization, the animation, all incredible. It's fantastic.
Yeah, completely agree. This movie is absolutely epic. If you want to see our larger thoughts, Dean and myself and a few other folks from the CW crew did a deeper dive on Blockbuster Movie Night. I think it's both on CW and on my channel, so go check that out if you want a deeper dive. But yeah, I think this movie checks almost all the boxes. The art direction is incredible. So the visuals are on point. The sound design, I love the audio. I know initially Zach had said, this soundtrack is a lot weaker than the first one, but I love the soundtrack on this one. And that's kind of a testament to how this movie kind of ups the ante, because the first one's so good in so many ways. To be able to improve on a lot of the stuff from the first is kind of incredible. I thought there was no way that it would surpass it. And in my book, it definitely is equal, if not maybe just a little bit better. I've got to rewatch it. But yeah, I think it's just a fantastic movie overall. I will just say, Dean, I kind of am with you. The characterization, especially from Peter B. Parker, on why he would stop Miles, I still, that doesn't necessarily add up to me. So maybe in the second film, they can kind of clarify exactly what the larger plan was. But it didn't make sense that his mentor was then trying to, not necessarily assist him. But yeah, overall, I think having Spider-Man 2099 as the main antagonist, pretty badass antagonist. So overall, yeah, this is just a great film. Highly recommend if you haven't seen it. But who hasn't? Minus Eddie.
How dare you speak to my Eddie like that?
That's fair. I loved the art direction for both films, both the first one and the second one. This one didn't disappoint. It's a beautiful thing to watch. On my second viewing, I caught, 20% more of the visual artistry in the background than I did the first time. And then on the third watching, I watched it on the plane actually on the way back from Texas this last weekend. And once again, saw things that I hadn't seen in the background. It's got tons of rewatchability for that aspect of it. I don't love the character motivation of Spider-Man 2099. I feel like instead of just talking out or talking through the problem and really truly making Miles understand what the problem is, he kind of escalates it to a point where it's like escalation for the sake of furthering the plot of the film, as opposed to escalation because it makes sense to escalate, which bothered me more on the second and third viewing than it even did on the first. However, I mean, we needed a movie to progress the plot, so I mean, I guess I see why they did certain choices. I just didn't love it. It just didn't stick with me that well. In my opinion, the first film is still a better movie. It's something that I just enjoy watching more, I think. I also like movies that have complete stories in them. I don't like cliffhanger films. I know that we knew this was a part one going in, but I was still kind of like, man, like I just kind of wish they'd been able to wrap it up so I could look forward to whatever comes next, as opposed to waiting however long it's going to take for the next film to even come out. I do think that the soundtrack in this film was better. I agree with Marco on that one, but I think that the score was worse. So like the actual the background music of the film, I thought was better in the first film than in this one.
Really?
Didn't stick with me as much. I thought I liked the music more though, like the songs, I guess. And so yeah, it kind of just depends on how it resonates with you. I think it's definitely worth the watch. I loved the characters. Last thing I'll say is the Ben Reilly Scarlet Spider, not only hilarious, but also very well drawn, like really cool looking drawing. I really would like that hot toy.
That's Andy Samberg, right?
Yeah.
Andy Samberg, yeah. And I would love for them to make that version of Scarlet Spider. I think that'd be cool as hell. So cross fingers for that one, especially now. And I've got more faith now that we're seeing the Spider-Punk version. I can totally hope for it now, hopefully. So see, but watch this movie, Eddie. It's worth it.
Hell yeah. Let's see here. The chat is agreeing with us. They said Ben Reilly is the most underrated character in the film. The last track at the end, where it's a mixture of the themes, the Spot's theme is so good. I don't.
Fucking Spider-Man 2099's theme.
Fuck goes hard, bro. On TikTok.
Oh god, dude.
I would say though, Ben, I feel like there's some things, regardless of what someone says, that you just can't like. The thing that has to happen in this movie, like, there's no way, I think, even if they explained it to him, I wouldn't, like, if that was you in that position, like, I couldn't do it.
That's what I was saying. Like,
but that's part of being Spider-Man, right? Like, it's an incredibly painful sacrifice that you have to make. So, we did want to I guess Marco and I have had this idea that it might be better to allow people to sort of watch ahead, as it were, for Movie of the Week, so we can perhaps get a little bit more participation. So we have the next 6 Movie of the Weeks ready for you guys. So next week is Dungeons and Dragons. The week following, that's the fans' choice. Week following, we're getting a spooky season, so The Conjuring. After that, Mandy, chosen by Dean. Hereditary, chosen by Marco. And then Renfield as our final spooky movie, chosen by Ben, and Fantastic Mr. Fox, chosen by Eddie. For Christmas, we'll also do a Christmas theme of selections. So stay tuned for that. Again, these will be once per week, and the episodes listed will be when we'll watch them. So
I've always wanted to watch Fantastic Mr. Fox, and
I've never seen it.
So.
Yeah,
I
I've
saw
never seen
the
it.
images that Eddie had mentioned, and it looks intriguing. I've never heard of it, so
You guys are gonna love it, I think.
It's who directed it? It's what's his face, isn't it?
The guy that directed that movie that just came out with all like Tom Hanks and let me look it up really quick. But he's a well-known. It is Jesus.
I just forgot his name.
All right, let's move on. Just a reminder, we have the $10 off the Inart Superman purchase, code CWSM, that expires October
Wes
28th.
Anderson.
Ben, are you telling us we're on a clock here in the chat?
No, but I said to them in the back chat, I want Dairy Queen ice cream, so hurry the fuck up.
Oh, okay. Well, Ben, let's read these people that keep the network
give
going.
a quick shout out to all these sweet Patreonies, some of which we got to meet this week. Got Ian CB, Renee Mendes, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, King Louis, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, Equan, Chris Valencerina, Ben Thomas, here comes Kevin, Chris Letty, David Jones, Sam Giz, Daminator, Joao Bretta, Thomas Clark, Eric Switzer, Six Guns Figs, Billy Badfish, Toy Cartel, Sweet Danny Lee, Deanie Martin, Stephen Krett, Big Ol' Fern, Cesar Marquin, Mark Phillips, Lisa Martin, Bomonsky, Victor Gregorio, Ricardo Valdez, Jose CZ, Erwin Azucena, The Illustrious Rainer, Alan Morgan, Tukothry, Wah, Derek B, Arias Portillo, Alvin J, Aurelis Delgado, brand new on the list, Jazz Carroll, Joe Ridley, Pablo Meza, D-Rock, Matt Clevenger, Seth Tucker, CC, 3PO, Scott Smith, Don, Stephen Purchase, Sean Usby, Scott Bradley, Steve and Maria Stanley, Eddie Mizanaris, Louis Bennett, Chip Perrin, Jimmy Hernandez, Gigi the Judgmental, and Brenton Palmer. Sorry, Kevin was jumping on me. What a bunch of sweet angels.
The September-October Patreon benefits, we have the 3000 sticker and the CW Halloween sticker. Excited to get those in your hands. Taking a look at the network, we have the hot seat tier for $5 a month, which is the digital benefits. We have the $7.50 Sweet Angel tier, which is the physical benefits and access to Docs After Dark replay. The $15 certified crispy certificate, which is figure fix assistance, and the What a Guy doubles of all the stickers we send, and a Pog Deluxe set. Looking at our channel members, we have Absolute Irwin, Mojo Z7, Absolute Irwin, Alvin J, Andres IB, Andrew Gibo, Benjamin Hansen, Big Ol' Fern, Blurred Dad Life, Bob Dylan, CC3PO, Chris V, Cram, CT603, DJ, Daminator, Dante's Boneyard, Eclectic Collector, Equan, Fat Batman, Gare Bear, Gotham Cenobites, Jake, Just Another Friday Night, Justin Sports Card, KJ Smith, LV Avenger 702, Mark Pearson, Eddie Money Mendez, Mr. Mom Collectibles, Knight, OG Fan, OMFG Rick, 1/6 Figure Focus, Paul Schreiber, Philip DeFool, S Beam, Sam Giss, Slifer, SpongeBob SquareBalls, Sunnyvale Russ, The Ben Thomas Show, Toy Cartel, and Zeke. Membership starts at 99 cents if you are already a Patreon member, or $2.99 if you are not. You get loyalty badges and custom chat emojis and member shoutouts. We have TeePublic as well. Look at that. We got good old Spotchka joining the YouTube channel members. We appreciate that, buddy. Got to meet that guy this weekend. He's a fucking sweetheart. I actually just finished your 3D prints, Spotchka, so probably get those sent out by Friday once I've had a chance to clean and cure them. Looking at the network, we have live unboxings Mondays, questions of the week on Sundays, Ox PD. We got to get back to that, so probably next week. OFAC is recording this Thursday as a small talk. They had a little bit of scheduling conflicts, so they might be back to back the next few weeks. After Dark on Wednesdays at 10:30. We're hoping to do a full OxCon recap tomorrow. Maybe just a small bit of recap tonight, but we invited some of the like Spotchka and his guys for tomorrow, so we'll see if they can show up. Live and Let Dice this Sunday. We're doing it on Sunday, actually. Have a little bit of a scheduling conflict for Saturday, and then Bricks and Brews approximately monthly. Just quickly, do we want to talk OxCon, or we want to try to save it? We could even do it for next week if that's better for you guys.
Let's save it for next week.
All right, we'll save it for next week.
Queen.
I did. Yeah, he's like, bro, I want the queen, bro. I
don't want to rush it either. It was such a fulfilling like weekend.
Yeah.
I don't want to like rush through it.
Yeah,
Let's do it next week. Now, two things happened. Well, a lot of things happened, but two really fun moments happened. Marco, 16 Fix, and the Ben Thomas Show were officially knighted as bannermen to the Empire. We had a big barbecue at my house to celebrate, and during the barbecue, they were officially knighted. We always kind of joked like, when are y'all going to be a part of the Empire? And they have finally taken that first step into a much larger world. So we appreciate you guys for helping us, all that you've done the past few years, and it was great to be able to do that in person. And it's been it's been years since we knighted someone in person, and it was one of those moments that Marco was like, we shouldn't film this because it really is like you had to be there moment. So if you were at the barbecue, you got to see it in person.
Didn't want to film it. That's exactly.
Ben and I
why
were
Marco
holding
didn't want to-
pinkies, by the way. So
We were.
Yeah.
just
It was a
little
beautiful
It was an honor.
moment, witnessed by all in attendance. But let's leave it with that. We'll talk OxCon perhaps a little bit tomorrow, and definitely as our full discussion point for next week. This week was just so much Hot Toys and art and everything news that we had to kind of push that back. But that's what we're here for. We got to give you guys the news, and we'll update you guys on OxCon next week. We're already looking into stuff for next year. A lot of people have been messaging me about they want to come, so possibly looking at changing the location. But we'll kind of play that by ear.
Marco says he doesn't want to come anymore.
do not come. Come all.
I'm gonna come. Anyways, yeah. Do you guys have any shout outs you want to give? I guess maybe I'll start. Juan Whitney was so incredibly nice to meet them. They were telling us things that I had forgotten about. I remember when this happened, or I remember when you guys were still using the iPad or still on the kitchen table, and it really reaffirms why we do this kind of thing. There are people out there that listen to this content, they enjoy it. He's like, dude, me and my wife, we sit down in bed and we watch, After Dark every week, and it's our favorite show, and we tune into the main show, and it's there's times where perhaps you want to quit or you want to stop going, but again, talking to people like Spotchka and Zio and Austin and all those wonderful people that came down. Again, same thing, telling us all these crazy things that we had forgotten. Joey also, it's just like, gosh, there's such a community that we've built, and we're so fortunate to have, our little corner of the internet that love and support us. So it was so great to see everyone this weekend, and we're excited to kind of share a little bit about what we did this weekend tomorrow and next week.
Yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to Steve, Casual Nerd, 12-inch Moose Stream, and Paul Schreiber. I met up with them early on Thursday. I think they landed first. And we had a nice lunch, and then it was in and out of the airport all day, helping people get to where they needed to go, and then we watched Star Wars together at the end of the night. That was fantastic.
Wow, because me and Corvo weren't at that lunch too with you, you fucking dickhead.
Oh, that's right. You guys did Uber there. Yeah, you're right.
If we just thanked everyone, we'd be here all night. I mean,
yeah, there's so many
split up our
yeah.
thank yous.
Yeah, Eddie. Poor Eddie.
He's still mad about the Ram joke, Eddie.
Oh my god.
The Ram joke. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, good.
Life's too short to drive a Ram, Dean.
Oh yeah, how dare you? Drive a Dodge. That's what my grandpa used to say. Yeah. So yeah, quick shout out to all those guys and everybody that showed up. But we'll talk more for later.
Yeah, shout out to Zach and Victoria for opening up their house for the barbecue and inviting everybody over. I know me and my anxiety, having that many people in my personal space would be like super nerve-wracking for me, so that was awesome that they did that and also showed us around the city. And thanks for the Dean for picking a lot of us up and driving a lot of us around. The man didn't ask for any gas money or anything like that. He did it out of the goodness of his heart because he loves us all. And it was
you kept asking him like, bro, stop bothering Fern.
It was appreciated. Poor Fern. I love Fern as well. What a lovely guy. He's one of the sweetest and gentlest people I've ever met. Like, he really is. So like, very cool.
Send it
But
to my bench, bro.
So many. You're not wrong.
Gentle to that bench, bro.
Yeah, but so many great people this past weekend. To shout out them all would be crazy, but you know who you are, and it was awesome meeting you guys for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just got to echo those same thank yous. Just a great weekend. Everyone that was a part of it, it was just, it all came together. Now, there were some hiccups. You know, we almost killed Fern and a few others walking through the Riverwalk in 100-degree heat. But, you know, we made the most of it. We got margaritas. It all worked out. So, yeah, it was a great weekend. And
bro, those marks hit hard, bro. It was the heat, but I was like, bro, how is this one margarita fucking me up so bad?
Bro, it was strong, man. It was strong. But, yeah, thanks to Zach and Dean and Victoria for being awesome hosts and everyone else out in San Antonio. And, yeah, just a really great time. So, looking forward to running it back next year.
I'll say shout out. Wow, you hate to see it. Marco's dying on that hill, the only one that didn't want to do it in San Antonio anymore. Sorry, Marco, it's on you, buddy. Shout out.
I was the only one.
Yeah, he's the only one. Shout out to Zach and Victoria. Appreciate you guys always hosting and making food, and you know, Zach can barbecue, man. Dude, I had some loaded up hot dogs, man.
Everyone was so impressed. I'm like, guys, this is just hot dogs. Like, you know, there was like 10 of us. I would have made ribs.
Glizzies, dude.
Bro, they gave me a Ben Thomas glizzy, bro. That thing was like fucking.
They were black too. And shout out to shout out to Marco for fixing up the whole Airbnb and setting up the rental and everything. Shout out to Danny for driving. Shout out to Feezy. Feezy got it going. One of my favorite nights in the Airbnb was charades.
He's such a dad, yeah.
Dude, Feezy hooked it up, and Feezy was also really cool and just really down to earth guy. So I appreciate that. And obviously everybody else that came to hang out, and like I always find it surprising when people want to like hang out with me so much. So you know, that was cool.
One extra shout out to Paul Schreiber, who drove us around in his awesome
rental
car.
Paul.
Yeah,
I forget.
Paid for the movie too. Sent me and Victoria a wonderful gift for our home. And shout out to the city of San Antonio for placing that fire hydrant just at the right spot. If you know, you know. So many funny fucking moments. I got fucking bit by an ant because I was being nosy in the Airbnb and fucking still dealing with that. Marco fucking got me good, bro.
Pulling the
Dwight Schrute, bro. I was like, bro, this yard is nice. I was looking around. I was like, oh, let's peek into the garage. Why is this water heater cabinet open? Boom, right in an ant pile.
I was like, Zach, why are you in the crawl space of the fucking house right now?
Fucking testing the chairs and shit.
Secret tunnels.
Yeah, so we'll talk next year. Marco has some great ideas to sort of crowdfund some new equipment. A lot of our equipment didn't work the way we thought because, you know, we use the solo equipment all the time. Trying to bust out something to do a 6-man stream just didn't quite work the way we thought it would. So we'll see if the community is up for that. If not, you know, we'll just go back to sort of mostly enjoying in person and trying to do some janky streams. But yeah, we'll talk about it next week. We love you guys. And anyways, I'm Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Marco.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Eddie.
We'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye.
It's new.
I just wanted to see if
ice cream, yay! Nah.